Yeah, just the
Roger
pictures.
Ebert and stuff like that, and I was like, I wonder what he has to say about this, because like he's respected enough. So I was like wanting to see what he was actually thinking, and it was.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I saw something about Roger Ebert, like a Spaceballs quote, or were you talking about history?
Both. He didn't give either one of them. Well, let's see.
All right, so you ready to get started, or you want to?
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Let's go for it.
Start that music. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hey.
We're here side by side. I'm CJ Robles.
And I'm Ben Garrett.
And welcome.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good seeing everyone.
Happy New Year. Oh wait, no, that's a little early. Sorry.
Happy
Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Happy
there
Thanksgiving.
we are.
Good morrow. We are now on I don't even know what number episode we are, but
I think it's looking number 13.
Number 13, and I think this falls perfect. We have wandered our way blindly, organically, and all wholesomely, and just pure conversation. Have found our way to Mel Brooks. Now, if this is your first time listening to Side by Side, I'm going to give you a little breakdown. This is where Ben and I, we either take an actor, a director, a writer, and we kind of just compare two pieces of their work to their movies, and we kind of talk about them. We have keep in mind this: if you like spoilers, stay tuned. We like talking about movies, so. And if you like me butchering names, you've hit the jackpot here. If you want somebody to really butcher some names, I'm more comfortable. As you can tell, at number 13, I'm comfortable. And I'm happy that this is number 13 because Mel Brooks.
By God. Oh, hey, speaking of blindly hitting Mel Brooks, did you happen to see Carlos's post? Carlos, our old improv teacher.
Yeah.
About the Hey Blinken with Dave Chappelle and from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah. No, I know. I saw it, but I don't remember it. I know you're talking about that.
This is talking about some Joe Biden aide. It was like Aide Blinken or something like that. And then it's like it had Blinken in from Robin Hood Men in Tights. It's like, did you say Abe Lincoln? It's like, no,
dude. Oh man. I don't. Dude, I gotta say, you have to when I watch these movies, I come in blindly. I try to erase everything I know, and sometimes I'll be watching a movie and I'll remember it. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I'll watch it. Bam, I remember everything. But I'm going through it now, and I'm just taking my time. I'm living in the universe and really trying to understand more or less what I'm spending my time doing. And I have to pause these movies. Because I'm like thinking, not only am I thinking the joke is funny, but I'm thinking that this is 1981 and 1987. So these jokes are really funny. Like you'll see a lot of these jokes. I mean, Mel Brooks is probably like not one of the godfathers of slapstick comedy. You'll see his stuff like in Family Guy and The Simpsons. A lot of his jokes, they're just little funny little jokes. So the two movies we chose was History of the World Part 1 and Spaceballs. And I'm not mistaken, both of these are written and directed and produced by Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
All right. I watch these out of order. So I usually like to watch the first one, the first movie, what do you call it? The one that came out first, and then watch the one that came out later. But I found a snag and a great result. You're like you said, this is impressive what happened. So I don't know if you want to start off with. I feel like
tell your story.
I feel like with what we're gonna jump into right now, I feel like you're just gonna take me on a little journey, and I feel like we're gonna be going like in an orchard or something. You're gonna be telling me all about every little drop and every little grape and every little apple, and I feel like I'm just gonna sit back and relax and just take little bites. So my notes on these. because okay, so we're going from a movie that I is kind of one of my core movies in Spaceballs, which I saw
Mhm.
first, and then the History of the World Part One I've never seen. I will say that I have seen bits and pieces of the movie, like snippets. I remember when I was young, but I got this confused with Monty Python.
Yeah.
I do remember the Moses dropping the 15 commandments of the 10. So I do remember that, and I remember Don DeLuise as as the
As
Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So outside of that, I remember those two things. But I couldn't remember this movie, and like I said, I blended it with Monty Python. So I was like, you know what? As soon as well, the one. Okay, let's. You want to talk about his? I feel like I want to talk about Spaceballs first.
Oh, okay. So honestly, I watched Spaceballs first too.
All right, let's do that.
This
Okay.
time around, yeah. So yeah, no, oh gosh, I probably saw History of the World Part One before I saw Spaceballs.
Cool.
It took me a long time to get to Spaceballs, even with my brother quoting it all the time and just like loving that movie. It took me a long time to get there. I mean, Blazing Saddles was my first introduction to Mel Brooks. Um, and then, like I said, I think like I saw a part of History of the World Part One whenever I was younger, and there was this other movie called Caveman.
Yeah.
It had Ringo Starr in it, and so I saw that, and I remembered the beginning. I'd seen the beginning of History of the World Part One, where you have our forefathers, and and then it shows the cavemen, the Stone Age life, right? And so I was watching that caveman movie, and I was like, this is the same thing, right? And it just wasn't. It didn't have the same scenes I was remembering. And then I stumbled across History of the World Part One. Oh gosh, I can't even remember when it was, but it was many years later. It was probably on like Showtime or Stars or something like that. And I saw Mel Brooks. I was like, ooh, yes, I need to watch that. And but yeah, dude, Spaceballs. I think the first time I watched it was probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Like it hasn't really.
Whoa,
Yeah, like
whoa! You're in your
I was
twenties.
really, yeah. Oh yeah, I was
Welcome,
well,
welcome to the party.
yeah, man. And
Damn, that's awesome though, man. So, what do you think
yeah,
watching it? Like, did you? Because you obviously got all the references, right?
yeah. Because
Okay.
I had seen Star Wars. I had seen it, numerous times. It was one of my favorite movies. Kind of growing up, that and Jurassic Park. I mean, I
Oh,
watched
dude.
all the time. Um,
I'm right now.
but yeah,
We're on. Sorry, just to interrupt. Right now with Maxwell, we're on dinosaurs, and I am fully fledged into
oh,
the JP and the JW world once again. So
oh yeah.
eventually we'll get there. But man, it's so
You know
fun.
what? And we kind of talked about that before, and you were asking like if it would be good to introduce them to Jurassic Park at such a young age and everything. Watch Jurassic World again. I don't think it has near as much. It's not near as
You're right.
graphic,
You're right.
and so that may be a good. It's that may be a good start for him, and then you could go like just like as a background, and
Yeah.
I don't remember there being that many scary scenes.
No, it doesn't. I've actually showed him the Indominus Rex the other day, but I passed the parts where he eats the few of the people. I just kind of fast
Yeah.
forwarded a little bit and just kind of showed him, and
Hmm.
he's some of the Spinosaurus just go from part three. So I was like, you know what, I want to save these. I think you and I concluded that we were gonna save it when he got older, but no.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say, man, you bring up Jurassic Park, and I'm like, dude, like that's one that's kind of like secretly tugs at the strings, man. Like I
Dude, it
like.
just yeah, man. It's such a cool story. It's you get a lot of that cool CGI and
Mm,
animatronics kind of
yeah.
mixed together, and it's almost seamless.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly, it is seamless for
It,
what the early '90s. I think it was
yeah,
'93.
93, yeah.
Yeah,
It
something
aged
like that.
well.
So yeah,
And so,
it really has.
and now to segue back to Mel Brooks, like his movies, they're more like timepieces now.
Hmm.
They're not that they aged wrong or any bad or anything, but it's like the beginning of comedy,
Yeah,
like maybe colored comedy. I don't know, but man, Spaceballs at
it's
that's in your 20s, so and
yeah.
you got to see it and you got it. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
man. And I'll be honest with you, man. The one thing, and this is gonna sound so damn weird, but the one thing that sticks out to me about Spaceballs, and the one thing I thought was probably the funniest, whenever the alien busts out of his Like that was the one like memorable moment. I was like, oh, okay, aliens. And then like going back and rewatching this, and then seeing that was John Hurt,
Yeah, the
that
same
actually.
same guy.
And funny enough, dude, John Hurt is in History of the World Part One.
Oh,
He's
he was
Jesus.
yes, yes. I was trying to figure out because there's a few characters that I noticed that in a few Mel Brooks movies, that they just have a few like they're like principals. They have a few lines in there, and I was like, that guy's from another movie, and I was trying to remember where that movie was from, and I was like, oh wait, Life Stinks. That's what he's from. I was like,
Oh,
or
he was
like
in that too.
no, no, not John Hurt, but one of the other guys, one of the henchmen,
Okay.
and he's also in Spaceballs. Like he plays a trooper and a stormtrooperish, whatever they're called, in the Spaceballs, and then he plays in Life Stinks. He plays one of the bums.
Is he the guy from Groundhog Day? The
Mm,
one he's the selling insurance? Is that who you're talking
no,
about?
no, no, no. He's a
I can't
man,
remember his name.
and I'll look him up real quick.
Yeah.
In this movie, he plays. He had
He's not asshole, is he?
yeah, no. Okay, so, so I'll find him. I'll post it later. But
Yeah.
but Spaceballs to me, so
Let's jump into it, dude.
let's jump into
Let's
it.
get
All right,
into
that's what everybody's
Spaceballs.
here for. So Spaceballs, 1987. It is PG. It is an hour and 36 minutes long. It is under, and this is on IMDb. It is an adventure comedy sci-fi. It was released June 24th, 1987. It says a star pilot and his sidekick must come to rescue of a princess and save the galaxy from a ruthless race of beings known as Spaceballs. That's literally the whole movie right there. That's literally the whole movie. Director Mel Brooks. Written Mel Brooks, Thomas Meehan, and stars Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis, and Bill Pullman. Kathy, not Kathy, what's her name? How am I missing her name up already? I was not gonna. Daphne Zuniga. There you go. Sorry. It has a lot of good characters in this movie.
Yeah.
In Spaceballs. So you were a little bit late, but you got all the references. This is one of those movies that's gonna fall under the movies that I didn't. It's one of those tearjerker moments where I don't have a lot of good memories of my father, but we did watch a few movies. This is one of them. This was Spaceballs was one of the movies I saw with my dad, and I watched on HBO, and I watched it. I seen Alien already. I already saw Alien. So you're right. That part does stick out to me, and it's pretty. I'm fascinated that you said Caveman because that's another movie that my dad and I would watch, and we would just like laugh at it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then there's the other one with Dennis Quaid. We would watch that Caveman movie too, and that one was silly. I can't remember what that one's called, but there's another Caveman movie out there. But we would watch those and Spaceballs, the John Hurt alien scene, which really messed me up because it's the same actor. So.
Yeah.
And I'll say, let's see. So it was around 87. I probably saw this like in 1990, 1991, like real early 90s.
Okay, so it was still fairly fresh.
Yeah, because I remember renting it VHS like maybe like in 93 because I remember I didn't get introduced to Star Wars until I was in 6th grade. So like 1996 was the first time I got introduced to Star Wars. So when I got introduced to Star Wars, I connected this movie with that, and I thought this was like the fourth Star Wars. So, and I told myself, why didn't they make all the Star Wars like this one? Why was it? And then I understood what parody was, and I was like, oh shit, because it's got John Candy in it, and
I feel like if you saw this movie before you saw Star Wars, it would almost be better. Because you can enjoy it as a comedy, you can enjoy it as its own kind of little adventure aside from Star Wars.
It's kind of
because
fancy.
yeah, dude. Because I remember like I was catching all the references from Star Wars, but like it just, don't get me wrong, it's a funny movie. It just was like, like I don't know. Like it's not that it wasn't funny, it just didn't hit on the same level. Like if I had no idea what Star Wars was and saw this movie, it would be great. It would be the funniest damn thing I ever saw. And then I saw Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, this is like the serious version. Like you said,
Yeah.
like I enjoy the comedy first, and then I can get into the kind of seriousness. I don't know. Like I said, this movie's great, but I almost feel like maybe it was just because I waited so long too. And I had all that time to just really soak in Star Wars. You had the prequels where everybody bashed on them, and so the trilogy is just like a sacred thing, and then you have this parody of it, and it's just like, why are you making fun of Star Wars? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know. Um, so I think that in a sense that kind of ruined it too, and just being 1987, so this is like 4 years after Return of the Jedi came out.
Yeah.
And then and then in my mind too, I was like, well, they would have had better graphics. Why didn't they use them? And then, you get to thinking about it, it's like, it's a comedy, man. They're not trying to make it look as, space age as, but I mean, it does.
They did a good job, man.
They did a good job.
I'll say one of my animation classes we looked at Spaceballs because it was like, is this really a good movie, a comedy, or we did the special effects, and for the time that was way ahead of it's not too ahead, but it was with its time, and the some of it I think it aged well. I think a lot of them are practical effects, it's just kind of in the camera shots. But the humor, Mel Brooks' comedy, his writing, he does not. You go every scene. It feels like Keenan Ivory Wayans probably learned something from here, from Mel Brooks, because I get the same feeling when I watch Keenan Ivory Wayans movie, but he has a little bit more of a setup. He has a little bit more delay on his jokes. Where Mel Brooks are jokes on top of jokes on top of jokes on top of jokes, and you're just laughing your ass off, like every little thing. I'm just right here where I'm looking at it when he gets beamed up. And, he's like, I don't know about that. Come on, just get a shot. And he does it, and then they turn him around, and he's like, oh, my ass is in front. How come you didn't tell me my ass is this big? And then they bring him back, and they fix him. He goes, I'm just gonna walk, and it's like right there, like,
right there, dude. And then he scratches his ass. Oh, I love that part too.
Dude, it's like see, there's like so many layers of jokes, like why do we why are there's just it's just layered. Like you if you don't get two of the jokes, there's still like 3 or 4 jokes that are gonna pop out right in that same scene.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, man. So, I just want to kind of start at the beginning because I had a question for you.
All right.
On the scroll and everything, it's like chapter 11, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of taking a jab at them because they start from the middle and work their way around all this stuff. But it's chapter 11. Do you think he's like talking about chapter 11 bankruptcy? That was like my first, I was like, I wonder if that's kind of,
I can see that. I saw it straightforward as it's like it's like the Last Jedi, but they've always like when they say Friday the 13th 25, and we're like, well shit, we're already at like Friday the 13th, like 13th, so yeah, we're getting there. So it's kind of like that where I feel like I saw that, but you're right, bankruptcy, because one thing about this movie, it is all about merchandise, like heavy in your face. Like, and then that's what I was saying. To think about it, to watch this movie in 1987 at the theater, and then for them to like, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but for them to be like talking about in time, like what part is this? No, this movie though, we're in cassette now. Like they actually look at the audience, like they break the fourth wall here and there, and they go through it, and you see what do you call it? You see that they're watching themselves in the movie on the monitor, so it's like real time, and it's like, whoa, that's a nice little gag that he does. Like that's camera work, that's acting, that's great timing. But that kind of like that being said, from like just everything from the beginning, like it's already like he's laying it out there, like, come on, you're gonna laugh. Like look what I'm doing. What did I write about that? Actually, so with this movie, I just kind of watched it. Like I took notes of both these movies. So both these movies, that my mindset with the second one we're gonna talk about, History of the World Part 1, was since I hadn't seen it, I just wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch it through, and then I figured I was just gonna get some bullet points. And I figured since this, like, you already own this movie, so I'm already finding out about this movie a lot. So I'm like, okay, he must watch it. I have never seen it, but Spaceballs, I can, like, I was just watching the scenes, I just started laughing. Like I'm laughing at the joke that I already know is gonna come, and then it like hits me like it's brand new. I mean, everything this from the plot, like Pizza the Hut. And he ends up like it's like Jabba the Hutt, Pizza the Hut. Like there's like, it's right on like making fun of it, but it's also making fun of a franchise. There's like all these. It's a franchise movie, the Schwartz, the everything they do. They're making fun of Star Wars, and that's where all the money's at. They're like the sequels and the toys and the merchandise. So like getting to watch the story, and it is kind of like Star Wars, like the whole. It's kind of all of Star Wars wrapped up in one movie in a way, like. not the journey is kind of different, but it feels like it's just like the main bits and pieces of Star Wars, and we're watching it just play out in front of us. Um, just getting introduced to the characters. Lone Star, I didn't understand why Bill Pullman was dressed like that, this character, but now I get it. He's a modern day cowboy.
Yeah.
He's a modern day cowboy, and that's why he's dressed like kind of like a cowboy. I was like, oh, okay. John Candy. Oh, I love him. As Barf. I didn't notice it till now how they enunciate his name. Barf. They actually do it like that. What are you gonna say?
Yeah. Well, dude, and it's funny because it's that one you really kind of get lost in because it doesn't like it has John Candy's features, but it doesn't look like John Candy at all, man.
No,
And I love him hitting Bill Pullman with that tail, like because I feel like that might have been like unintentional, and that just kind of happened,
and they went with
and then they just like made it a running gag, you know, like he got hit in the face once, and he's like, "All right, you got to keep doing that."
Yeah, because it seems like he's annoyed by it, but like not at that moment, like always, like, you know. So he kind of was building, like you're right, something they improved it, maybe kind of hit each other with that. But yeah, just the opening scenes of them just always like just. He's like the money thing, like they're doing it for the 1 million. I don't know what they don't call dollars. It's called something else.
Space bucks,
yeah, something like that. So that
Yeah.
you know, goes from 100,000 to a million or 10, whatever it goes to. But it's definitely like what would you like? What's up?
Well, it's like over the top. He's like, "1 million space bucks," you know. It's just like that kind of goofiness, you know.
Yeah.
It's just yeah. You got oh man, that wedding though. That wedding that they have is like whenever he starts walking, he's like, what does he say? I have it written down here.
He just starts Johnny like all stupid. He just
oh yeah oh god, dude.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit.
Where is it, dude? I wrote it down. Anyway, it's whenever her dad's like, "All right, we're gonna start with our right foot," and she's like, "Dad, that's your left." And he's like, "It's too late. Just keep walking."
Keep walking.
Like, that shit I don't know why. Just his delivery cracks me up, and the priest too, where he's like, "Princess Vespa's coming down the aisle. Da da da." To the right, she's running out the door.
Yeah, you get the play-by-play.
Just the delivery on those two scenes, man. Like it was pure gold. Like I mean, that's the I feel like whenever you say like delivery and timing and stuff like that's where he really succeeds. It's like he can get that performance out of somebody, and just like if they know what he's talking about, man, they're gonna nail it.
Yeah,
and it's just gonna be so damn funny. And then that kind of going back to the beginning, man. Whenever they show that spaceship, it's just that long ass crawl.
What's the license plate say?
It said, "We break for no one."
Like they're in charge.
Yeah. And dude, that's funny. It was so funny because I watched the latest Mandalorian episode, and dude, they kind of had a scene like that. It wasn't near as long, but it just was like that. It was like a little bit longer than usual, and I was like, "Oh, dude, that reminds me of Spaceballs." But yeah, man, and then that ominous music that's always going down. You know, da-da. It's almost like Jaws or something like that. And I really you know, in Star Wars, the music it's a big part of it, and so I think they kind of take that to heart in this movie and really try to make the score the same, you know, like
it's an element in the movie. Like every time the Spaceballs come out, they're like da 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 da. Yeah, like the show, like that's power to show that they're dominating, but they're not. They're a bunch of idiots. Like,
oh, dude,
it's so close. I feel like Mom and Dad Save the World or the Universe, whatever it's called. I feel like John Lovett's planet with a bunch of idiots. I feel like Spaceballs gave them some inspiration or something because those guys are all dumb.
Dude.
I didn't realize that this movie was. I thought it was a lot longer than it was. It's a kind of a quick movie, but just the way that the story is told and the way you keep up with it, and it's already setting you up with the Star Wars theme. So it's kind of like I didn't know about the whole Star Wars thing when I was younger. I just watched it. Even when I watched this like in like my teens, when I would just watch it, like I would just laugh my ass off. It's kind of like this kind of falls under like the National Lampoon's movies for me,
Yeah.
where I like Chevy Chase. I'll just watch them, just crack up because it's Chevy Chase. Like you said earlier, like this is Mel Brooks. Like Mel Brooks is like he's a genius with his timing, with his comedy, with the way he delivers everything, everything in all his movies. I'm finding out all of them I can think of. There's a scene. There's not a scene that doesn't begin or end with a joke. Like
Yeah.
and then top it off, they're just jokes in between everything. Like everything's a joke to him. And this one, I feel like it's more like the like the princess, like played by Daphne Zuniga. They made her super spoiled. They made her
Hmm.
super spoiled, and you get that right away. I mean, the big hair dryer,
Hmm.
the bringing all, like they made her a princess. Like they made her like what a princess would be like. And I always feel like with Disney when they do like that Disney princess is it's kind of like I don't think anybody really wants to be a princess like in that way. Being spoiled like one and being treated like one is one thing, but to actually become and grow up to be a princess, I don't think a lot of people want to. I don't know if they do. I don't know. I mean, Paris Hilton, I feel is like a modern day princess or something like that.
Yeah.
But like
No, I
but
mean you're absolutely right.
yeah, and I think something like with this character, you don't really hate her. She's spoiled, but it's more like the jokes are just practical jokes, and you just kind of get it. I mean, the scene where she's always talking about her hair, and then they shoot her hair off, and she goes rampage and just starts shooting all the spaces. She gets like 8 guys. Like that's funny. The Joan Rivers, the as a CP3O,
Yeah.
that's a good casting
Yeah,
there.
dot matrix is what she's called in
That's
this.
just called she's the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
she does a great like I don't know, just she's a great addition to the movie. Like it's her and what's John Candy. You're right. You don't really see him as John Candy, but it's still John Candy giving a hell of a
Hmm.
performance as Barb. So they're supposed to be equals, like as in character, I guess, screen time, whatnot. But John Candy just like it's cool having Joan Rivers there, the dot character. It's good having her there, but really like it's just she's on for the journey, she's on for the ride, and the story is basically I don't know, it's turning Lone Star. He goes from being this I guess bounty hunter or whatnot or whatever he is, like a freelance survivalist, whatever. And he goes to being a prince, and it's like just because like everything just kind of falls in line with him, and he's excited. Uh, God damn it, dude! Stupid Rick. I put the movie on. I forgot. I usually like to watch a movie in the background as we're going, so I can kind of keep it going. But Rick Moranis just as the Dark Helmet, like
Yeah.
I can't breathe in this thing. Like, his facial expressions are priceless. Rick Moranis is
Oh,
he gives gold in his performances, and sadly he recently got blindsided or sucker punched in New York. So
yeah.
I was like, he's out of retirement. They got punched like he's back in retirement. No, like, like I can't breathe in this thing. Like every joke that they have with the helmet is just it's just like it's part of him. It's not even like he wears it the whole damn movie. And then even like when he's like he's in control, like we don't need to break, just we don't need to slow down, just break. Like he's like I'm in control, and he kind of reminds me of like that upper management at a
Hmm.
restaurant or like a business where they're supposed to be smarter and in charge and more experienced, but they're out of tune with the time, and every idea they shoot it sucks, but they're still in charge. You reminded me of that character. I do like how every time the Spaceball guys they put their hands in front of their crotch every time he walks in, like they're doing because instead of choking, he does something to your balls. What does he do to your balls?
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Yeah.
What does he do to your balls? Like what does that do to him? Does he just streak him? Does he hurt
Probably
him?
probably twist or chokes them. Chokes your balls.
Chokes your
You know,
balls.
just like Vader does to the neck. He's just like squeezing
Dude,
them.
that
Yeah, man. Dark Helmet is it's a classic. I love how he has the tie on his suit too.
he's
You
like a
know,
business, like he's a business
it was
guy.
like you said. You know, he's like you said that upper management. Like he's in charge, but why?
I
Why are
didn't
you in
I
charge?
didn't actually get the tie thing till this go around. I never noticed it. I was like, he's wearing a damn tie. Like it looks so stupid. It's all leathered, and he's also little. Like he's a little guy, so it's kind of like the Napoleon complex. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's all pissed off. Yeah, that.
Dude, and
Yeah.
his facial expressions, dude, are just they sell it, man. Because I mean, that's really the like. I mean, that's all you see is his
Yeah,
face.
this is
I
face.
mean, and everything else stays the same the entire movie.
He did.
And even when he puts that helmet down, I mean, his voice changes. I mean, it's like it's a totally different character, and I think that's kind of cool, you know.
Mr. Coffee, Mr. Radar.
Mr. Radar, yeah, he's like,
Radar.
oh yeah, of course I like my coffee before I look at the radar.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what he's
You
talking
know,
about. Like, I do think that humor is like cracks me up. It's just you're right. He's because it's all black, so you only see his face that sticks out. Oh, and by the way, we're talking about face. South Park. When we talked about South Park the other day, I think Cartman got away with brown face.
yeah,
in
no,
the
he
movie,
totally did.
I thought I forgot
But
to
see,
bring that up.
it's so fast, man, and you just don't even like. I think that's another thing with South Park is like you can't. It's hard to get offended by it because it's not like you said. It's not trying to offend.
They're trying to offend.
It's not trying to offend you. It's like it's doing its thing, and if you get offended along the way, well, that's your own fucking
That's
problem.
your fault. Um,
Um,
Dude,
yeah,
with this movie, with these movies, I'm man, watching Kevin Smith. I can't stop watching. I watched Chasing Amy like in between all this, and then, it's just I like love watching his movies. I'm starting to kind of pretend that they're all little, not their movies are like in a separate timeline. Like I don't know, just kind of I'm trying to see if you can stay with me. Like I just start thinking of all like Kevin Smith movies and all the time he puts into them. And then watching a Mel Brooks movie, it just kind of it reminds me like he did all this too, and he puts all his efforts into making it. It's like you do have to kind of as a filmmaker, you got to put all your into it, because
yeah.
what are we seeing in Spaceballs, and we see in the History of the World Part One, he's multiple characters. He plays once again multiple characters. I mean, he plays what he plays the. I mean, let's see. Let's get this correct. I don't want to guess this one because I know
President Scroob,
he plays the president. He plays the yogurt.
Yogurt.
Does he play anybody else?
I think those are the only two in Spaceballs. I could be
Yeah, but
wrong,
yeah, but that's still he's still doing two guys. Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt.
but President Scroob, you know what that is, right? It's like
Uh,
an anagram for Brooks. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like you
ah,
just if you switch the like, it's
yeah,
everything is Brooks except for the R is in front of the K,
yes,
instead of
yes.
right behind the B.
He
I
got
thought
he
that was. I was like, that sounds like kind of familiar, Scroob, and I was like, oh, that's Brooks backwards, almost. You
almost.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I think he was just kind of. I feel like they probably did a lot of that on Star Wars too. You know, you um, see that with a lot of um, like with
Mercedes.
one thing that like with Pokemon, you know, they have like Ekans and it's Snake backwards, you know, and it's a snake character kind
Yeah.
of thing. So you kind of see that. I thought that was kind
I
of
mean,
funny.
you got Mortal Kombat, Nude Sabot, Tobias Boone. They got their
Yeah.
names back. They just put their names backwards because they have so many vowels. It works.
Yep.
Um, the RV. They have Barf and Lone Star have the Winnebago. It's supposed to be the Millennium Falcon. Like it's just like I heart
Just cruising
Uranus.
through sprays.
This
Yeah.
movie
Yeah. Exactly.
for 87, this is good. I mean, just looking at the design, it looks great. Um, Seeing the way it looks like an actual, like it doesn't look like they're not they didn't do a cheap job. They did a good job. Even with all the prosthetics and everything. The character with Pizza the Hut, he's kind of like an homage to those characters, like that Pepsi character, right? Or those like he's like a robot or something, or he's supposed to be like,
Oh, his like henchman kind
yeah,
of thing. Yeah.
he's supposed to be a robot.
Yeah.
And he's eating him. He starts licking the
Yeah.
pizza.
He's like the that gangster type. Like if yeah, he's like. I guess maybe like the Italian mafia kind of thing too, because you have Pizza the Hut, and you know he's just sitting there melting away. Uh, I love that too. He's like, and this time pizza will send out for you.
That's
You
right.
know, like it's just like it's so goofy, but it's so damn funny, man. Uh,
This is
yeah, I'm
also
surrounded. I'm
what's up?
the major asshole, and I'm surrounded by assholes. Like,
Yeah.
who else is an asshole here? Yo, like,
Everybody's like the jokes. He does say shit a lot in his movies. I like that. He goes, "Oh shit, oh shit." Michael
yeah.
Winslow has a appearance in it as
Hmm.
cameo. That's funny.
The beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
Yeah. He
Oh
does
no,
that.
we've been jammed. What is that? Raspberry?
So that messed me up. I didn't understand what that meant when I was younger. So when I saw that, I was like, I don't get it. Is it jam? coming out of the TV, but I mean, I got it when I got late. I got, it's a play on words, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's all Mel Brooks, dude. Like that is his bread and butter right there. Is
Mary,
playing on
yeah,
words.
Pizza the Hut. We got
You
Jam.
know.
Even Lone Star is supposed to be Han Solo, I guess, like Luke
Hmm.
Skywalker, Han Solo combined. I'm happy they didn't go too Star Wars with it. They just found some plot and went with it.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, coming from Star Wars to Spaceballs, I think that was, like I said, I don't have any gripes about this movie. This movie is fantastic. But that was one thing I was like, oh, you're merging a lot of characters here. Like, I mean, you got the obvious Princess Leia and everything like that. But uh, yeah, man, I don't know. I think, and another thing too is like I just heard so much good thing. Like my expectations were just like through the roof. For
With Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'd heard about it for so many years, and then you watch it, and then you're just like, and sometimes if you just build something up too much, you get a little underwhelmed. Whenever you see it, and it's just like it doesn't necessarily hit that expectation.
Hmm.
And I would say that's what happened with Spaceballs. Like I said, not that I don't love this movie, love the jokes or anything like that. It was just I had too much build up to it, you know.
Oh, I get you. Like you were
You
you
know,
so that's what this movie isn't a really big. It's a Star Wars parody, but very lightly in there. When I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's here, but it's not heavy. It's not. They're not making
no,
fun of everything Star Wars. It's just they're just making fun of. Actually, they're just making fun of the profits of Star Wars or the merchandise of Star Wars, the franchise of that. They're not even making fun of the story.
well, and then George Lucas, whenever he first, whenever his negotiations with the studio, I think he was just wanting the merchandise. Like that's all he wanted was the merchandising from the movie. Is he wanted the profits from that, and that's where he made all of his money.
Money. So that's why he's making fun
So
of him of
that's
that.
why, yeah, because I mean the movie was so damn successful, so then they started cranking that stuff out, and if you do that, then it's almost like propaganda, like if you have enough of it out there, if you have enough merchandise, then people are gonna
They have
start.
to buy it. I
Yeah.
don't. And man, I don't want to sound like blasphemy or I'm not trying to talk. I just the Star Wars craze now is like bigger than when I was a kid. And it was Star Wars was announced in the '70s, and I was a young girl
Yeah.
in the '90s, and I was like, damn, it was not this big. And
Oh, but there's so much more material to digest too now. I mean, you have what, 9 movies, not including movies from like Solo, Rogue One, which Rogue One is a fantastic movie. I don't know if you've seen it
I
yet.
have, yeah.
It is
Well,
just standalone,
standalone is
great
what
movie.
that's what I would
Yeah.
say.
Um, and then you have TV shows. You have like 7 seasons of the Clone Wars,
It's
four
all canon,
seasons of
right?
Rebels. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All that is canon. And what else you got? Now you have the Mandalorian. I mean, dude, that is huge. You have the child, aka Baby Yoda, and people just eat that up, dude. Like at my job, they had Mandalorian like marshmallow sucker kind of things,
Yeah.
right? And at first I was like, oh, I might get that, and I was like, marshmallow. Oh no, I don't want to. I want to eat that. That sounds gross. So I just like left it alone. But dude, all of the Baby Yoda ones, all of them sold, every single one, and all the Mandalorians are left, and they just know how to market and know how to
Dude,
how to sell merchandise.
I saw a meme today on Facebook that said, to one of my, well, not even me, my friend, I guess posted something else and it said, really, honestly, what other than being cute, what does Baby Yoda offer? And start like, what does he have like on the battlefield? It was like he's a liability, and I was just like, I don't know the Mandalorian, but I know enough of the content because it's out there. I know what they're talking about. And I'm like, that's funny. I liked one of the other meme that showed Gizmo and Baby Yoda next to each other, and it said, "When you got the same different mommies but the same daddy." Like,
Yep. Yeah, dude. No, it's the Mandalorian, man. It's a really cool TV show. I
yeah.
I love it. I mean, every week I'm like ready for more. They're bringing in a lot of cool stuff. It's like watching a western. It really is. Like the first episode. I mean, western, dude, all day. Like walking into town, you find the marshal, And then Marshall sits down, has a drink. You know, how? What are you doing here? I don't think
Yeah.
the two of us are walking out of this bar. Like literally verbatim is kind of how it went. And so it's cool to kind of see that in a like a out of this world kind of
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, dude, I have nothing but good things to say about the Mandalorian. If you haven't seen it, dude,
No, you know, you've talked to me about it. You've shunned me a little bit about not being a Mandalorian guy. But I mean, I have to
oh,
go and watch all. I eventually will binge all Star Wars and I'll be caught up. I hate it when I have to do it.
you got other stuff, man. You
I
got the
gotta
sports,
I gotta do this. I
and
gotta.
put your
I'm not
hands
even.
down. Put your hands down.
Like, you know
What
what?
is that for your
That's,
vagina? I don't understand.
I got
Like,
two of them.
I
No, the thing is, I don't
mean,
even.
I
I'm
get
able
it,
to.
but shut up and just watch Star Wars. Like,
Don't you
I
just
don't
be a man
understand.
and watch Star Wars? You know, it's funny. Sports is also on my don't watch list right now, so that's why I'm able to watch all these movies. I've been giving football a little bit more respect and watching it because I'm actually doing okay in some of my leagues. One of my leagues I'm
Yeah.
doing fine, and the other one, but I'm like, nah, I can't. I just feel like it's different now. It's not the same, and I just don't like all these super teams and all these sports. They're just letting all the good players go wherever they want. There's no struggle. There's no like, hey, this is a job.
Whoa. Sounds like you want basketball rules or something.
Yeah, but none of that, yeah, but none of that touching and dribbling shit that you guys like to do. The suburbs, like,
It's like when players are treated like indentured servants. Yeah.
just, I mean, South Park has that episode about slaves, and I mean they're making fun of it, but it's like, oh my, that's like really an eye opener, man. Like,
Yeah.
where's all that millions of dollars coming from? I get it. I think I don't know. We're not going that route, but I'm learning to mature about it. But yeah, no, that's what I mean. Without the sports, and I could just kind of, just figure
Yeah,
out.
put it down. That's fine. Hey, listen. Hey, how about this, CJ? You will watch The Mandalorian. You will watch it.
These are not the episodes I should be watching. These are episodes.
No, but I mean, to your credit, man, Star Wars, Star Trek, especially Next Generation, is very, very cool.
Yeah.
And it's almost like more grounded in our reality, which that's why I like Star Wars so much, man. It's
Yeah.
like a getaway,
So
whereas Star Trek is like you can see that actually happening one day here.
so it's basically a pirates and ninjas. That's
Yeah.
all it is. I'm probably a pirate, but I want to be a ninja, so that's why I lean more like that. But also, I was introduced to that more. I'm late to the game in Star Wars. I mean, baseball was my first entry of anything to Star Wars, but I don't have anything to say. I can't even like Star Trek is just way too. I grew up with it, so I appreciate it, but I haven't really. I've just watched the movies now, which I love. I love the movies. I love what's his name? Simon Pegg is in him. He's right. He wrote the third one.
Yeah.
I like
The third one, I just couldn't get into as much as the other two. I don't even know if I finished it.
Well,
honestly.
I feel like the action is not like the other two. The action
Dude.
in the first two is like really. I mean, the second one alone, I got scolded in class by this super nerd guy in one of my design classes because we were talking about Star Trek, and I said, well, Into Darkness is pretty. Don't you dare finish that line. Don't you dare finish that line. It's lazy writing. It's lazy script writing. It's like, and I was like, come on, man. But I mean, for the generation, I mean, the guy was like 12 years older than me. So I was like, for my generation, I thought it was pretty good writing. And, the having Khan's character, like super powerful, but yet super loyal, having a balance there. Like I mean, even what do you call Benjamin, Bennington? What's his name? Dr.
Oh,
Strange.
come on, Butcher. There you go.
I can't even think of his name.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch. There you go. Him. Even the way he plays Khan is just a very great delivery. Like he's very believable. I like Chris Pine as just Captain Kirk. Like, his version.
And I mean, honestly, man, if you hadn't seen any of the other movies, if you hadn't seen the original Star Treks, like, it's a good twist. It's a good twist where he's, like, he's the bad guy. You see him as an ally.
Yeah.
And then turns.
I mean, there's only so many story arcs where there's one where I'm your enemy. Now I'm your enemy. Now we have a common enemy. Now we're friends. It's like I think with writing nowadays, especially with my filmmaking, I'm gonna try to see if I can figure out a way to, tell the same stories just different, like in a different angle.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to reinvent the wheel. Just tell a different story.
and not to keep beating a dead horse or a dead tauntaun or anything, but that's what Star Wars is about. You know, like it's the retelling of like the Greek. What is it? It's not the Greek tragedies. It's like what is it? The Odyssey. I mean, that's
Yeah,
essentially,
yeah, it's
and
awesome.
it has a little bit of that Greek mythology in there, and it has what was it, samurais and stuff like that, like Shaolin monks, and
I will say
that's what the yeah. What you
I've
was
seen that a lot of the Star Wars now has a lot of karate involved, a lot of
yeah
ninjutsu and stuff. I'm like, damn. So that does make me appeal to Star Wars a little bit because I do have that background. Like I've been to like I like watching that. So I was like, oh, I want to get into it. Now I just don't know where to start, but this could be a good segue for me to start getting into it. Because Spaceballs, it's just man, like just watching this movie and seeing all the little references, they're just goofy. Even the way like I'm watching it right here, and when Dark Helmet gets smacked in the face with the camera, like they do
yeah.
stupid little gags, man, in this whole
You
movie.
know what that reminded me of? Scary Movie.
Punk.
Yeah.
Punk. Cindy.
So
Yeah. So you can still reuse a joke. It just depends how you use it. Because the way they use it here with Dark Helmet, it's real slow and he's it's supposed to cut, but it doesn't, so it hits him. Where in Scary Movie, it's like going really really fast because the scene kind of shows the extreme close up, like it just goes too far. Kind of like in Stay Tuned. You seen that one, John Ritter?
mm-mm.
Yeah,
I did see that on your list of movies though. You
yes,
said
yes,
it was like on
yeah,
Amazon Prime or something.
yeah. So that with a red hot poker, extreme close up, and they use the camera. They do a Wayne's World parody, and they like do the camera real close to hit him in the head. I did like it was funny how Barf was he's taking the princess from her Mercedes ship to the Winnebago, but he's just like he's not even in a spacesuit. He's just going down that ladder, like he's not even like he's just like a regular like he's like if there's air in space. They use it. It's like this really like lets me know like you can have fun with a movie. Like it's your movie, it's your story. When someone tries to correct you, it's like, well, you want to hear the story or not? And I feel
Yeah.
like that. I feel like Mel Brooks has a real tendency to do that. Like he's just talking. I
You
think
know, and
he's trying to be offensive.
well, yeah, well,
Druidium. She doesn't look like
yeah,
a druid woman.
druids.
Druids.
Oh, of course, a druish princess. But to be fair, he can get away with those a little bit. Uh,
I mean,
but
I feel like Spaceballs is compared to the other the later one we're gonna talk about. It's like apple pie compared to the other one. This is like it's like sweet, it's
oh,
easy. There's
yeah,
nothing really. They're literally just making fun of Star Wars's money. That's all they're doing in
yeah.
Spaceballs. And I mean, franchises are where it's at these days. I just don't know how we got to 9 Fast and Furious, but they're still ticking. We're probably gonna get to like 13, 14. So I'm not saying not to do them. I'm just like,
We
hey,
already have we have one spinoff, Shaw and Hobbs,
Hobbs,
which was
yeah.
just that was. I went and saw that in theaters. I was like, I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, would I go see it in theaters and spend that kind of money? No, no. Would I watch it at home and pay money for it? No. But if it comes on Netflix, yeah, I'll watch it. You know, uh,
I think you're right.
it's one of those, man. It's like it's almost like it's trying too hard. Like The Rock, dude, he can play a great subtle character, but with like that character, he's
Too
like,
too
um,
aggressive.
yeah, he's like, I'm a badass. Nobody's more badass than me. Okay, you're a badass too, but you're not as badass as me still. Like it's just like,
too
you can't
I think we have too
fucking
much
win.
doses of Rock these days. He's too much of him. I love Rocky Maivia when I was younger, watching him
Um,
in
Jumanji,
wrestling.
man, I think that has been his one of his better movies in the past couple of years.
Surprised me. It's a great
Well,
movie.
it's because it actually shows like, okay, he can play somebody different. Normally he's just that fucking big ass dude just like walking
Yeah,
around whooping ass. And this one he's like, oh, I'm scared. And then even in the second one, he's Danny DeVito. He's like playing a Danny DeVito type character. It shows his range, and
yeah, he's doing it.
I enjoy The Rock. Don't get me wrong. Like his first introduction to Fast and Furious, I think it was like Fast Five, or
So he's been in
I
there that
think
long. Damn.
yeah, dude. And so like whenever he first gets in, it's like, oh yeah, man, like you're all behind it, and then you watch it for 4 or 5 more movies, and you're just like, all right, it's the same damn
Yeah, how
thing,
much longer
different
can?
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those. they're just about doing the next biggest stunt and the next biggest stunt, and then oh wait, we're gonna jump. It's almost like Die Hard, you know, like you
Yeah.
have Die Hard one where okay, this is believable. Like oh yeah, that guy's a badass. He's walking on glass. Like something that you probably don't want to do, but if you really had to do it, you could probably do. You know, that's John McClane in the first
Well,
one, and then you get to Die Hard or Live Free or Die Hard, where he's jumping off a F-16 and
yeah,
running a
and
semi and stuff like
that's
that.
yeah, that's the or like the Annie is praised a lot in the second Die Hard, where he's even getting ejected from a plane, from grenades. Like it's like he's too unbreakable. Like they made him vulnerable. That's what they. I've seen some documentaries where they talk about how Stallone and Schwarzenegger never got hurt or injured, but Die Hard, Bruce Willis was the first guy to really take a beating, and he even by the third or fourth, but by the fourth or fifth one. Bruce Willis is joking around, just saying, "Just give me shadows and dirt, and I look good." And I'm John McClane, so that's all we got to do. And it turns into kind of a parody of itself. I still think I loved all the Die Hard movies, but that might be my nostalgia thing. But I don't
Yeah.
like as a sit down and watch them as a filmmaker, they're still impressive, man. A lot of the practical effects, I'm like, how the hell that's hard to do.
Do not get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
Live
yeah.
Free or Die Hard, love it. Like
Oh,
I love
I gotta
that. I
rewatch it. I
love
gotta
that
rewatch
movie.
it. I gotta
It has
rewatch
Kevin
it.
Smith in it, bro.
I gotta
So you
rewatch
have
it.
to.
Gotta rewatch it.
Um,
But that's before that's pre him and Bruce Willis going at it, and they have
yeah,
they have the
before
beef.
Cop Out.
Cop out. Oh god.
Yeah, dude. But and Justin Long, man, I'm always gonna watch a movie with Justin Long, and I mean he has a track record making good movies. He has comedic timing. He can be serious at the same time. I mean, look at Jeepers Creepers, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was able to show like he was actually fearful and still have little bits of comedy sprinkled in there. Well, I feel like he doesn't even try. Like that's just his natural personality.
That's just how he is,
And so, but yeah, I mean, Live Free or Die Hard. I mean, don't get me wrong; those scenes are amazing and they're cool, and I love watching it. But it was just
Yeah, I think you're right about the fast movies. It might be a little too much. I think like the hyper. He's going hyperactive. They don't even call it like light speed. They call it hyperactive. What is the Eagles plaid? Is that? I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't get what plaid means.
It's I have no idea either.
I think it's going so fast.
But
like
I think it's just like so many different colors. Well, you know how like within I guess since you don't watch Star Wars that much, you may not know. So in Star Wars, whenever they go in the hyperdrive, you see like all those lights just coming at you, right? So I imagine plaid would just be like it's going so damn fast, like it makes that plaid streak.
It makes yeah.
That would be my guess. And then it was a cool effect where you see that plaid over them.
Emergency
and to
stop,
be
never use.
Never use, right?
Never use.
Oh,
I know, it's funny. It's like a train. It can't just stop. It's got to slow down. And then it busts, and he gets out. He's all like, "You're right. Just face. Just, we're good. Good. Just falls.
You got him, smoke him."
His helmet is all bashed in. Yeah. So I'm kind of. A lot of my notes are just like, I did just kind of laugh at a few things here and there. I mean, the whole movie is just it's like a big slapstick comedy. One of the little
before they go play, he's like, "What's wrong, Colonel Sanders? Chicken." Like,
yeah. I did write that when I wrote that here. Yeah, Colonel Sanders chicken.
Yeah, dude.
There's also one of the little. I will do a little shout out. There's one of the little. I don't know, not Ewoks. The other guys that are on the desert.
Jawas.
The Jawas. They Tony Cox. I don't know if you know who he is from Bad Santa. He's He's one of the little guys. His face.
Really?
Yeah, I was like,
it's funny because we had me, myself, and Irene playing earlier. And he was in that too.
He was a repeat offender for you today. Also, there was another repeat offender by the name of he was in Scary Movie. Oh, remember he was a Rick Ducommun. He was on The Burbs. The guy that the dad.
Cindy's dad.
Yeah, he's in Spaceballs. So he's he's just like a small when Lone Star and Barf land and they take the guards' uniforms. He's the bigger guard.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, dude. This one thing I think I'm gonna start focusing on, just character actors that are kind of have lines in movies but don't really. I don't know. I just think I think you can always connect the dots. It's kind of
Yeah,
fun.
dude. That's what I used to do whenever I was working at Domino's, man. Just to like, kind of, it would kind of show off my movie knowledge, and then just kind of help me do like mental gymnastics. I'd be like, all right, here's a game we're gonna play. All right, you're gonna tell me two actors, and I'm gonna try to get to them being in the same movie or like coinciding movies in so many moves. You know, like say you have like Sean Penn and Sean Connery. All right, and then you just like they
But
don't necessarily have
they
to
have
be
to
in the
be in a
same movie, but
movie.
you like, yeah, you like,
How you connect
oh,
them with another actor or director? So if you
yeah.
did Sean Penn and Sean
I
Connery,
try to do actors exclusively, just because it makes it that easy. So like Sean Penn, I would go like Dakota Fanning from I Am Sam, right? So Dakota Fanning, she's been in a few movies. Let's see here. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. All right, that has Leo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt. Shit, I know he's been in a Sean Connery movie. For some reason, I want to say like Meet Joe Black, but I don't think that's Sean. That's
nah,
Anthony
Anthony
Hopkins.
Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins.
So Anthony Hopkins. Oh, no. See, that's still. I don't know why. Anthony Hopkins is almost synonymous with Sean Connery for me because he was in Zorro with Antonio Banderas.
Okay,
He
there you
was
go. Keep
the
going. Keep going.
okay.
So he was in Zorro
So
with, or you could
Antonio
say,
and Christina. Okay, yes. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Oh shit.
in
The Thomas
Trap,
Crown. No, it wasn't the
in
Thomas Crown Affair. Entrapment.
I mean, there you go. Ding 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 ding.
See,
So
that's what I like to do.
yeah,
And then how many was that? That was
I think that
like
was
five.
5 moves. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's not bad. And like, you kind of jump around, and I probably could have done it in less than that.
yeah. But no,
Sean
you're
Penn's been
right.
in a lot of.
So I would play a game with some of my friends, my acting friends, and it's the same thing. And you try to see who can. You kind of do the. I think it's a game. I would just start doing it, and they would get it. It was like I don't know if it's an improv thing, but like I would say something. Also, we could say 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and
Yeah.
I'd say like well shit. Let's see, was he in Trimmers? And you say an actor from
Yeah.
Trimmers,
Fred Willard.
Fred Willard.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
No,
Fred
no,
Willard. Yeah.
it's Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Fred
Fred
Ward.
Willard's the one in.
So Fred Ward was also in Road Trip with DJ Qualls.
Yeah.
And then you gotta find another DJ Qualls movie and try to add.
Oh, DJ Qualls' new guy with Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin was also in Deuce Bigelow with Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider is a carrot. No, Rob Schneider in Rob Schneider in The Waterboy with Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, and the Waterboy. Adam Sandler and the Waterboy. Henry Winkler. And also
dude, and Henry Winkler in Scream with Neve Campbell.
Neve Campbell. So Neve Campbell is.
What else has she been in besides Scream?
She's been in a few things. The Craft with Vicky. What's her name? Oh, dude, I don't want to go that route. I don't know the Craft. No, The Craft with Skeet Ulrich.
Oh, Skeet Ulrich in. Oh, can we do TV shows? I'm gonna go Riverdale.
You can go. You can go. And I see now you're gonna get me.
Sorry. No, my bad.
You can do it. No, you can do that because it's cinema. It's anything in the world, I would think. Or it's not cinema, but it's.
Oh wait, how about the Skeet Ulrich in South Park? Bigger, longer, and uncut.
Oh, he is in that. Then I can do George Clooney, and then we go Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah, and then from Dusk Till Dawn, Harvey Keitel, or George Clooney. Sorry,
Yeah. So Harvey Keitel, which movie do you want to? Oh yeah, Harvey Keitel. So then Harvey Keitel. This is then just Reservoir Dogs, and then you can, it's like
you do Tim Roth. Or you could even do what's Sean Penn's brother? He's in that.
Yeah. Chris Penn.
Yeah, and so Chris Penn. So Chris Penn and Corky Romano. You get back to Fred Ward right there.
Yeah, you went Fred Ward. Yeah, and then you do, or I could also go. Man, this is a good one. Chris Penn, Best of the Best. You go Best of the Best. Eric Roberts. Just kind of keep finding your way.
Yeah.
This game would have to find other rules because you and I could just keep connecting these dots the way we do the.
We could do a whole podcast on it.
And even before, like, it'd be a good game. Even before, when I would do this with friends, we have to really like sit there and think because we couldn't Google or anything. This is back, 05, 06, 07, when I was doing much of the extra work. So I'd hang out with the actors and just kill time. Start just naming actors and movies and how they connected and see if you can stump somebody. Usually it would take, you get like 10 or 11 in and stump somebody. But, with you, I think we easily got to like, you get 20 real easy. Like you just keep connecting.
Oh, yeah.
And, and if you repeat a guy or, if you repeat a character, then you lose them. But I don't know. I think, I don't know. I really think with Spaceballs and all the actors that are in it, it's at the time, I think these are big name. I think even Daphne Zuniga, like I think she might have done other things, but even like that, she's like a really nice actress in this. Her portrayal as a princess, and then her chemistry with Bill Pullman and her dad. He plays. He's also he's also what's his name? The dad he's also in Robin Hood. Men in Tights. Good morrow. Good morrow. Yeah. Hey, Abbott. Good morrow. Hey, Abbott. God, I hate that guy. Hey, Abbott. God, I hate that guy. Yeah, King Roland as Dick Van Patten. Yeah, that guy.
Dude, yes. Hey, Abbott. I hate that guy. Yeah.
Good morrow. Hello, Abbott. Good morrow. Hello, Abbott. Good morrow. Hey, Abbott. Things like that. That just goes out of nowhere. You see, by that point, Mel Brooks is already like, all right, I've given you this, I've given you that, and he just slices it up. So this is kind of like his medium, or maybe the end. I don't know. He's been doing this for so long. I don't know exactly where Spaceballs would come in, because this movie, he's not offensive at all. No. He's not trying to be offensive at all. Maybe the Jew thing, the Juridium. Maybe stuff like that, but not. He's not. He's known for being a Jewish director, and he's known for doing that. So at this point, I don't think it's offensive. I think it's just creative.
I think he was wanting to go for mass appeal too. I think if you have like Blazing Saddles and you have History of the World Part 1, and you have all these movies that are kind of geared towards one crowd, and then you have Spaceballs, which you could take your kids to see that. It's going to have a few dirty jokes, but it's going to go right over their heads.
Yeah.
And one thing you kind of mentioned about it being a timepiece too, you have those two, what is it, the Evergreen twins or something like that.
Yes.
Chewing their gum.
Yes.
And so like even me, like I was barely on the cusp of knowing what the hell that was, And it just so happened, I was like, okay, yeah, I know what they're talking about. I don't think I ever saw the commercial, but I know what they were referencing.
The Doublemint twins, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see, I didn't even say it right. I think I said the Evergreen twins.
Yeah, the Doublemint twins. Yeah, it's I took a picture of one of the Comic Cons with one of his I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but he's one of the cosplayers, and he did Barf, and man, he did such a great job. I follow him on Instagram. I'll post him the link, but. He did a great job as setting up dressing as Barf. I was like, man, this is impressive that this movie, I don't know, by this point, I guess it's like 30 years old and maybe 35 years old at the time. And he still pulled it off. I was like, wow, we still love this movie. It hasn't really aged bad. It hasn't aged, I don't know. It's aged well, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of the practical effects are still there. Everything looks nice. The jokes are kind of the doctor and his assistant. He's making out with her with the mask off. He can't help himself. They're gonna put her nose back on, and then Princess Vespa. That's even a funny name, Princess Vespa, like the little
Prince
motorcycle. Valium. Oh, he's all tired all the time.
Yeah,
they turned in the Dark Star, the Death Star into like the maid. It's a giant maid. It's like the oxygen. That's another
transformer.
And it's a transformer. And that's another funny thing with the I guess the president. He's drinking the air in the morning. In the beginning,
Pierre fresh air.
Yeah, it's Pierre Perrier. It's like
Perrier. Excuse me. I butchered that one.
Hey, not as bad as me. You're probably at like 2 or 3. I'm over here like sitting at 300. So
Prairie.
It's all plaid. That's just you're right. It's too fast. There's just everything's in this movie. Spaceballs merchandise,
Yeah.
Spaceballs, the shaving cream. Oh, that dude's stupid. The shaving cream is like opens his mouth and he gets
Yeah.
it.
Well, dude, and like you said, dude, after they interact with yogurt, I mean, that's when you really see like Spaceballs, the tissue paper, like Spaceballs, the sheet. You know, whenever Scrooge's in there and he's messing around with, I guess it's the twins. That's
The
my
twins,
best guess.
yeah.
Yeah, and then, oh, dude, another one of my favorite parts that always sticks out is whenever it's like comb the desert. It's like, do you think we're being a little too literal? And then you have like those two people like, what is it? Nothing, sir. Nothing, sir. And then you have the two guys with the pigs like, what are y'all about? We ain't bound shit.
You ain't
Like,
found shit, man. Dude, I did those. There's a lot of characters that are like that in his movies. I've noticed.
yeah,
Usually played by a black guy, and but they're funny. Like he just comes out and just says stuff out like that. I've noticed that in a lot of his movies. Um, Man, the combing the desert. I'm about to admit this. I honestly thought that's what they were doing, combing the desert, and I thought that's what you actually did. But I was like, I don't know how old I was when I saw this movie. Like 10.
yeah. Well,
But
I think that's what's great about Mel Brooks movies is he probably thought that too. You know, like comb this. He's like, huh. You know, he probably thought of that whenever he was
he
younger,
made
and
it
then
happen. Yeah,
he just like he kept that memory and was just like, you know, whenever I first heard this is what I thought they were doing. You know,
he
because
found
whenever he was
shit.
growing up, he had the radio, man. So
Yeah,
he had to imagine his own stuff.
this
So
is
I
true.
imagine, I feel like a lot of this would be stuff that he had heard whenever he was younger and just like, oh, you know, like this is what I thought. You know, there's been songs like that. That oh damn, there's like one Tim McGraw song where I just like I mess up all the words, like I get them mixed up, and like there's one where it's like oh gosh, is like
If
I heard
you,
it's like I heard a voice from a few rows back is what he said in the song, and I always like heard is like I heard a voice from a hero's back, you know, and I was like I wonder what the hell that is, you know.
maybe we hear what we want to hear. I guess there's a lot of songs
Yeah,
like that. That like the practical effect with the car. They put mirrors at the bottom of it to make it look like it was floating. That was a
yeah,
cool little. I mean, you can clearly tell there's mirrors, but but they tried to really
they
make
do.
it. They did a
Yeah,
decent job. It looks cool. Like it does look like it's floating. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, because I'm at the part where they're gonna talk to Yogurt, and he just kind of lays it on him about the franchise, and now they're
yeah,
going.
dude, and you it almost like first off it looks like the Temple of Doom whenever they walk in
Mhm.
there, and then you see Yogurt. It's almost like a Wizard of Oz kind of like thing where he's like this big old guy, and then he like walks out.
The
It's like, oh,
reveal.
it's
Yeah.
Yoda, you
Yeah.
know,
The also
yogurt.
I don't know if you caught this, but there's the scene where Lone Star and Dark Helmet are battling, and Dark Helmet kind of pushes Lone Star, and he drops the ring and the drain, and then he's shooting him. And he starts doing the flips. I don't know if you noticed, but one time Lone Star gets up, and it's not him; it's the stunt double.
Yeah,
And I caught that this time. I was like, I never caught that before. It's the stunt double because they have that scene. We caught them, but like the Simpson movie. Here's a repeat joke. The Simpson movie has the scene where they're like, you stop there, where after Bart draws the faces, and then there's a family
mhm.
that looks like what he draws. It's the same thing they did here, but it's like
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my god, they're stunt doubles. And then the stunt double for for the princess Vespa is like dude with a cigar.
Yeah.
He's got a
Well, dude,
beard.
that's what was it? I can't remember which movie it was. It was like a Keenan Ivory Wayne's movie. I think it was like Dance Flick or something like that, where they're just like dancing really hard, and then you can
Oh yeah,
obviously tell, like, and it's supposed to be a chick, but then it's like a dude.
dance
Just and
movie.
I yeah, um, but yeah, dude, that's hilarious.
The, I saw
Oh
they call it South Park. I mean, not South Park. A Family Guy has that one where Stewie jumps out of a building. He said, "I think I'll make a movie," and he jumps out the building, and it's what do you call it? It's a guy with a beard. The same thing. It's an
yeah,
older guy. I think they're making the movie. I don't forget. I gotta remember. It was a Family Guy episode. For I was just gonna let you see what else you want to talk about. This movie is freaking funny, man. Even the Spaceball
yeah,
song at the end. Did you ever hear
yeah,
that? I never heard it before, and I started listening to it. I was like, oh my god, there's a rap for your buddy. like
yeah,
it's funny, even like everything. Like the more and more I see these movies be made, the more I understand how it's like some people can get mad because the joke is right in front of you and no one else talks about it. But this one, once someone talks about it and they claim it's kind of their joke, you know, and or
Yeah.
just their movie or their scene. And this movie has a lot of that. But I think for back then, it was kind of hard just to make a movie. You know, I feel like I don't feel like this movie took a much blow as this other movie we're gonna talk about. I mean, what was
Um,
Spaceballs? It was I mean, it was a budget of 22.7 million. It made 38.1, so it did gross some money, but not a whole lot. But it did a good job. 16 million, you know.
I love whenever Dark Helmet and Lone Star meets. Like, what is it? I wrote down here? It's like, at last we meet for the first time, for
Yeah,
the last
for the
time.
last time.
Um,
For the
yeah,
last time.
man. Was it? They had a sign in the back. It was like, conserve air, breathe less.
Yeah.
Has that capture the stunt doubles. Oh, it's like only an idiot would have that as
Two,
his
three,
as
four,
his.
five.
Yeah, he's like change my logic combo. And then I bet she gives great helmet
Great
whenever
helmet,
the
yeah.
doctor.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is great helmet. Oh, shit. Do you think I do like how it was the chemistry between Bill Pullman and John Candy is pretty good. You have kind of like this I don't know, to me it's just one of those where it does seem kind of like Bill Pullman is as pulling off the character is believable. He does, like, he's supposed to be maybe where he needs to be. I mean, he's not where he's supposed to be, but he's finding his way there. And and John Candy's just the character's barf is just there for the ride. I can't
yeah.
stop laughing when I first saw that hot air that hair blow dryer. It's so
Yeah.
massive. God, so
Hmm.
that cracked me up.
um,
Spaceballs,
play,
the flamethrower, a children's
yeah, the
toy.
flamethrower. Yeah. Whenever Colonel Sanders finds Dark Helmet playing with the dolls, he's like, "You didn't see anything, did you?" He's like, "No, I didn't see you playing with your dolls again." Uh,
Okay.
Colin, yeah, right. You turned off. Oh yeah, you turned off the whole movie. That part was.
Yeah, I'll tell you, yeah. They're like to have that like I don't know, I mean that seems like an easy joke, but they did it and it's funny because they're messing with the audience. At that point you're messing with the viewer and that's like breaking
Yep.
the fourth wall. Like when I was doing when I've been trying to practice doing a documentary, I never thought about me breaking as a director breaking the fourth wall, and I did that on this on this one. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. I never thought I was gonna do that. I thought it would be the other way. And then I keep passing this in the movie. They have Mr. Coffee, Mr. Radar, and Mr. Rental. All the VHSs, Spaceballs movies, like it has all his movies on there. It's kind of like it's kind of like an IMDb page, the way he has it.
Yeah.
Even the guy, even the guy at the end that's talking his ass off, that ain't gonna cure shit. Like,
I have in my notes down here what happened to Seven. I can't remember what that's about.
7,
Yeah, it's like it had been towards the end of the movie. Uh,
7. I don't understand. I don't comprehend.
yeah, I don't either. Because after that, let's see, maybe I'm just reading that wrong. Because chicken scratch, man, it's a real
Oh,
thing.
dude, it is. Yeah, I feel like I thought a doctor wrote my
Um,
damn notes.
yeah,
Um,
and then I like at the end whenever they're trying to marry Vespa and Valium again, and the preacher's just getting pissed off. He's like,
I
uh,
gotta marry someone.
don't. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna marry. He said, "Don't be sorry, be quiet." Like, I love the little shit like that. That's what makes this movie great.
And sometimes it makes me wonder if those are something mentioned earlier. I think the actors might be just doing it, improving in Mel Brooks' likes, and it just takes
Oh,
takes it, you know.
I hope so, man, because that like I said, these guys I would hope that they improv, and if they don't, then Mel Brooks is even better writer.
Dude,
And like I said, I think he can really, especially since he's directing and acting in it, he can really get across like what he wants these actors to do, and those older actors too. I mean, they're kind of the same age as him in these movies, so I feel like they're on the same kind of wavelength. Like
yeah,
how me and you are at times, like we can just kind of bounce off each other. He's like, I need you to really do this, and like they can just nail it, and that's what I really like this movie, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's great.
I mean, I don't know if you want to do the. I forget. Are we doing the ratings now or after? I don't know if you want to
We'll
talk
do it at the end. Yeah,
at the
we'll
end.
do it at
Yeah.
the end.
So which move over?
Um,
So just for saying with Spaceballs, just in general, I think it's just a clever overall movie made. Like it's a parody, and it doesn't go too deep into the parody. It's just enough. It basically just makes fun of the reality of the franchise. Not like not like this offensive little beauty over here called History of the World Part One, which really threw me off because Part One. I was like, well, there has to be a Part Two, Part Three, or something, but
it's the
it's
great
just the
thing
Part
about
One.
it.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
let everybody know. This is what happened with me in this movie. I like to see like whenever we get done or while we're doing the side by side episode, I will see where the availability of the movie is. If it's not available, I'll buy it online, and sometimes I will find some movies that aren't available, and I'm like, why are they not available? Or if they are available, like I'm doing my Kevin Smith collection, and Dogma is only it's for sale right now for $44. So it's a hot
What?
yeah.
Even on Blu-ray?
They're expensive. Dogma.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, I've been finding it. It's like Kevin Smith. You can find his movies at Walmart. It's pretty cool, but I don't know how
Yeah.
much they sell them there if they're there. I bought it. I tried to buy Jay and Silent Silent Bob Strike Back, and I ended up buying the movie poster. I don't know how I did that, but anyways, I went looking. I saw this, and I saw if you go to your IMDb page, and it says like the movie, you look it up, and then it'll say where you can watch it. Thing just said
Mhm.
Amazon. I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that they have Prime. It says Prime. This one just said Amazon. So I was like, oh, it's on Amazon. Cool. And then I looked at Spaceballs and it's on Stars. I got that. Cool. So then I just watched Spaceballs on Saturday and I was just like laughing my ass off. So Sunday I was gonna watch History of the World Part One, and when I went to go look for it at Amazon, it said for sale. And I said, "Wait, where's the streaming at?" And it says it's not. So I went looking for it on, I got the Roku TV and I put in the search, and only one came out, one version of this movie, and it was on Fandango for $15. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to spend $15 on it. I don't like having digital movies, really. I don't like doing
Yeah.
that because I just feel like you can lose them and then there goes your money." So I just said, "Hey, it says Amazon Prime." So it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. and I ordered it. And damn thing showed up like 10 a.m. the next day. It was so crazy. So I've had the movie since Monday, but it really gets me really thinking about why is this movie so hard to find? And like PCU, I love PCU. It's one of the first movies I saw in the 90s that I was like, that's college, cool. I didn't understand the political correctness, the PC culture, but I was like, college, that's something I want to go do. And I it's you kind of fall into that. But as I was watching, as I looked up for PCU, and I do own it, but I don't own PCU itself. It is not. I can't find it on Amazon. I can't find it on eBay, or reasonably priced. If you do find it, it's like $75, and it's hard to find. I had to get it with Airheads. Yeah, so I had to get it a double feature with Airheads, and I don't mind. I love that movie. I love that movie too. But I was watching. I found it, and I was like, why is PCU? And then you think about it, they're making fun of a lot of people in this movie where people can get offended, so they might not want to promote it. So it makes it seem like it doesn't exist. I'm like, that's not. I think I love what we're doing. We're bringing some stuff out of the archives and
Yeah.
check it out. These movies are around. They exist. You need to watch them. PCU is one of those movies, man. A lot of the stuff they talk about then is going on now. 20 years later, 30 years later. Same things with the movie, with what we're about to talk about in this movie. And I see this movie is like super offensive. I think Mel Brooks is definitely he's attacking. Like these are attacks. This isn't like Trey or Matt. He's deliberately going at people. He's calling out the obvious. I don't know. Let's just dive into this because I now own the movie and I now love that I own the movie. But you, my friend, you didn't have a problem with this because you already owned the movie. So
Yeah,
let me.
I kind of thought the same thing you did. I figured it would be available for streaming. You could rent it or something like that. And whenever I saw it on Amazon too, I was like, oh yeah, it's on Amazon Prime because I had every intention of watching it because I have my PS4 set up in the living room. I was like, oh, I could just watch them in the bedroom too, like no problem. Yeah, I bought this movie a couple years back on Amazon. I just had like a little spree where I bought a whole bunch of random movies. Let's see. Yeah, I bought that. Ooh, I think the Hangover trilogy. Like I
Oh,
just
I need
literally,
that. Yeah, I need that.
I just went on a little spending spree. I think I got like a little windfall or something, like an extra check or something that month, and just was like, hey, let me buy a couple movies, and then ended up buying a lot of them. Funny enough, I do own Dogma as well. I got that whenever it was, I guess, cheaper back in
Dude.
the day. But yeah, with History of the World Part One, I think, like I said, I got it whenever it was just like a spur of the moment, like, oh man, I love that movie. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. And I think I might have gotten Blazing Saddles at the same time. That might have been what kind of spurred me getting this movie as well. Just because I know it, I'd seen it, I loved it. I was like, oh yeah, I can have that. And I think I was probably looking at some Mel Brooks Blu-ray collection. I was like, nah, I'll just buy this one, you know.
Dude.
And yeah, dude, this movie is fantastic. It's yeah.
So real quick, let me just go back before I forget this. I just want to. That DVD I bought, the two feature with Airheads and PCU. I bought it for like $20. It's now $75.95 on Amazon.
That's so weird, man.
If
Because
you
I saw PCU like on Comedy Central like years back.
I mean, to own it. I mean, it'll be out there
I know.
digitally, but to own it is a pain in the ass. They have the movie right now for $70.90. I'll eventually buy this movie because I want to have that.
Telling you, it's the Mandalorian. It's really pumping Jon Favreau up.
Dude, yeah, true. Yeah, and I think I like that I'm buying a lot of the movies that we're watching, and I'm so happy that I bought this one because I got it for $10, and I think that's a steal. Like to order it at 6:30 and to get it not even 24 hours the next day for $10, that's a steal for in my eyes. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this movie, it's a little dated, but like I was saying earlier, it's a timepiece.
Well, and what I like a lot about a lot of these jokes is like you don't really have to be into history all that much, but if you pay attention to history, you'll get some of these jokes. You'll like one of my favorite jokes will come up to it, man. I love it. Like anytime I try to sell people on this movie, I'm like, do you know who Oedipus Rex is? And if they say no, then I'm like, all right, cool, never mind. Like, don't even worry about it.
Hey, break this movie down. How do you sell this movie to somebody? Because you didn't have to sell it to me because we're on the show. If you had to sell it to me outside of this show, how do you sell this movie?
Literally, what I just said. Like, okay, so we're jumping right into it. This really isn't a spoiler or anything like that. But there's one scene in this movie where one of our characters, Josephus and Comicus, they're walking through Rome, and you have this old blind man walking through the streets, and he has a sign yelling, "Give to Oedipus, give to Oedipus," and Josephus walks around the corner, and he notices Josephus somehow. He's like, "Hey, Josephus," and Josephus slaps his hands like, "Hey, motherfucker!"
Okay,
And like, it's just like it's so subtle. Like you can it's. If you don't get it, you don't get it. That's great. But man, like Oedipus Rex, the Greek tragedy, like I feel like one of the most known kind of stories of like, oh, and even Freud, you have like the Oedipal complex and stuff like that. I mean, it's literally like, it's just right there, man. And just like right in your face.
Dude, they
and I love that. Like that is my all-time favorite joke in this movie for sure. I forgot how many kind of big actors were in this movie. Like you have Cloris Leachman, you have B. Arthur.
B. Arthur.
Like,
God, yeah. When I saw it right away,
yeah.
I was like young B. Arthur, which not really.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Exactly, dude.
I didn't even know Orson Welles.
Yeah, he was the narrator.
Narrator.
Like it's heavy hitters, man. Oh gosh. Let's see here.
Count the money. It's money.
Count the money.
Count the money.
Dude, yes.
Dude,
like, what do you got?
A part I laughed. I just like these jokes. I was like, I can't believe I've never done these jokes myself. The stupid nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing. Nothing for sale. Nothing. I got nothing for sale. I got nothing. Like that's so stupid. Like, see, I like those kind of jokes because you're getting them in threes. Or you give them little waves, and they get worse and worse and funnier. I didn't expect that one though. That one got me. I was like, oh, that's like a pause. I have to pause and start laughing because I don't want to miss the next joke.
Exactly, dude.
In the stand-up philosopher.
Yeah,
that was brilliant. That was,
and
he did. Mel Brooks is a stand-up comedian. and you see him do it in this. Like, if you want to learn to be a stand-up, just watch his performance. Not you can't use the jokes he uses, but you look at the way he talks about everything, and even when he crashes by making fun of. By the way, Don DeLuise says Caesar. I never thought about a Caesar, a spoiled prince, like a fat dude out of shape. That's what he's a big kid. That's what he is, and it's like,
Yeah.
and the little gay guy he has as his, as his he like touches
Remember,
him.
thou art mortal. Oh yeah, he touches him
He
with his little
touches
staff.
him. Yeah, he touches him. He's like, ooh, like.
Well, yeah, man, and you got Nympho, and who's she played by? Oh my gosh, dude, Madeline Kahn, dude, she is just spectacular in this movie. Whenever they're like, whenever it's like, what about what about the people they're trying to capture? Is like, well, when they're found, they're hung. Not necessarily. Like, dude, she plays this role to a T, dude,
They did.
and it's great.
The crazy thing is the sex exploitation in this movie is ridiculous, but it's
Yeah,
from
and
1981.
it's like on the other hand, like it's like she is exploiting the men, whereas you don't get that a whole lot.
Dude, especially 1981, and then like the way that they showed right before that scene, they have the girls all together, like all hot. Like I was like, wait a minute, this is 1981. They didn't really show stuff like this. This looks like these girls are like hot. Even that scene where Josephus has to not get the erection.
Yeah.
The dancer, I was like, that's a nice body for 1981. That's like a full body.
Mhm.
Like I remember it was like different back then. Like I was like,
I think a lot of them were Playboy models, because you saw Hugh
Hugh
Hefner,
Hefner in there. Yeah,
and
he
he
was
was like,
yeah.
it's going to be revolutionary. It's called a centerfold,
Yeah.
and you saw a young Hugh Hefner too, which was crazy looking, like. Yeah, man. Another thing I love about B. Arthur's little role, she's like, "Oh, a bullshit artist. Did you bullshit today? No.
No.
Like, did you try to bullshit? Yes." Like he just over exaggerates
Like
them.
he's bullshitting right there. Like,
Yeah.
but I love that. That's like 1981, the bullshit artists. Like to 2020, that's all we have now. Pop culture bullshit artists. That's all we
Yep.
have. And what do you call it? That's like it's right there, like plain sight. The with time brought the artist,
Yeah.
and with that brought the critic.
The critic
He
just
just fucking pisses on his
he's
shit.
and the guy. So that's the caveman right there is Sid Caesar, and what was it? He was in Greece. He was the coach in Greece.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a. I feel like there's other things I've seen him in, but I was like, all right, cool. I that was the first thing that popped in my mind. I was like, oh, that's the coach from Greece. The first marriages, like the first Homo sapien marriage, and then it's
That's
homosexual.
what I'm saying. 1981. Like this is like mainstream. I don't want to make fun of mainstream. I don't want to talk about mainstream like that. But I'm just saying whatever it is, they like block. Like there's already an awareness down there. Like he's putting it right in the face. But I feel like that it shouldn't. If they're that able to pull that off so easily, it shouldn't have been a taboo thing. I think
Yeah.
maybe like, he's talking about homosexuality, like nothing. Like it's funny, like the out of shape caveman hits the other one. It's like a better shape.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, it's like they got it right in the money. I mean, I love that critic because it's true. That's way like it's really like what a critic is. Just let me just piss all over your artwork. Like
Yep.
it's like like you don't give two shits.
Works so hard on it, just like taking his time, like doing this right here, stuff like that. And then the birth of comedy, whenever that dinosaur comes and picks him up and eats him, it's like, oh, that's the singing too. That's what always gets me as well. He's like,
dude, that was they were all into it. They're like, you guys like doing a performance of the dinosaur eats them, and then they get into it. That's hilarious. The part that even the Spanish Inquisition, he does. There's a musical in this, and man, there's a lot of little stories to this whole movie.
It really is, man. And I like how it has like two kind of really, really big parts. Like you have the Roman Empire and then you have the French Revolution. And, those take up, quite a bit of time. The other two are just kind of like not as long, but you still get a lot of meat there too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the Spanish Inquisition, man, like I don't know. I feel like I said with Mel Brooks and his Jewish ancestry and everything like that, he wants to bring this up, and he makes light of it to, first off, bring it to people's attention.
Yeah.
And I feel like with comedy, you can do that, and then people kind of look into it and like, wow, is this really that terrible? And like you can kind of do, like, it almost inspires you to do research. And that's what I love. Not, that's what I really like about this too, is like it can kind of get the wheels turning, because the Spanish Inquisition, I don't know about you, but we didn't go over that a whole lot
Yeah.
in history class or anything. The French Revolution, a little bit here and there. Roman Empire, a little bit, just enough. But mostly focused on U.S. history, stuff like that. It really depended on the teacher. Give me 1 second, man.
I got
Sorry.
Alarm. We got the alarm going off. Waking everybody up.
I don't know what happened there. I plugged my my clock back in, and I guess I turned my alarm off, and it's 12 o'clock at night. That's when it likes to go off. And it happened last night. So now I have 2 times. I know I need to change that, because that is something that is no bueno. But the Roman Empire, man, that I love how they changed all the U's to V's.
Just used vehicles or something. Used tools.
Yeah. You are NVTS nuts. Swiftest says that to him. What else does it? Talking about indoor plumbing,
Dude,
like the road.
Get your shit out of your house.
Pipe the shit right out of your house.
Like, I like all the salesmen they have there. Like,
yeah,
they didn't exist like that back then, but that's what you can visualize how it is. It's. I mean, I've noticed that's what we're doing. We're in a consumption time of our life where it's just spend. Everything's like, buy this. Look at me. I'll promote your video. People want you to write ads for them and stuff, and that's what they're doing in that movie. Like, they're showing explaining that people are just talking out of their ass.
Well, and another thing, this just kind of clicked. You have the Roman Empire that fell, and you have all those salesmen and everything like that. And then you had the French Revolution, and you had all those salesmen too. So it's like they're trying to, whenever you have a bunch of commerce, that seems whenever things go to shit, And then the guy, going back to the Roman Empire, he's columns, get your columns here, you got Corinthians. It's like, sir, don't touch the merchandise, just gets them right there. The soothsayer, it's like, you're going a long journey. It's like, you're going to Rome. Am I wrong?
It's like, you're going to Rome. I'm in Rome. Hey, everybody's like, yeah, he got it. It kind of reminds me of the Flintstones movie where he goes, meet a 40-year-old man. He's very old, because they didn't live that old. Like,
yeah.
They'll meet the 40-year-old man.
There was a sign in there about the orgy and the buffet is like
first come, first serve. Yeah.
Or it said first come. Yeah, is what it was.
Orgy and buffet.
Yeah, man. Like, it's so damn good. I really enjoy the Roman that Roman part.
This is a little bit like year one.
That's what I was gonna say too. Like, I felt like this was almost an inspiration for year one.
Yeah. I think yeah, you can. I was gonna say that. I think maybe Harold Ramis got that inspired by this movie, or maybe he could. Maybe. I mean, I'm pretty sure he saw this movie back then, but I'll say that. Even like I just want to. I'll bring him up now because I think we're gonna touch it a little bit. Gregory Hines, one of my favorite entertainers, actors. I like watching him. Seeing him in this role as a young, it's one of his first movies. Even dances, like, I love that he's a great tap dancer, and everything he comes out, every time he's on screen, big or small, he's always tap dancing. You see him on Will and Grace, he's tap dancing. When he's scared, he has a little tap. Like, even what do you call it? He's also in this movie that no one remembers, but I freaking love it. It was called Eve 6, I believe. It's called Evil Destruction. Evil Destruction, 1990. Yeah, 1991. He's like a cop, and he's it's just. Let me just read. Let me read to it. Let me read to you what it is. Here's the movie. It's kind of a cheesy. I don't want to say cheesy. It's a sci-fi movie, but A terrorist hunter is hired by scientists to deactivate her android double, a walking, talking, murderous nuclear bomb which has gone amok in the big city and is about to explode. So he's fighting this android of the scientists that he's about. Even that movie, I like him in. He's got a great demanding lead. He's like he can demand the camera easy, but in this role, he was the Chew character. He was Dave Chappelle, but it's cool to see him like that because every time I've seen him before this movie, he's always serious. He was always doing like a little joking around, but more stern. And this one, he's younger, but he's a kid. He's not a kid. He's a goofball in this movie. Like he's like having a good time, and even like he comes out, we need a miracle. And here he shows up. Like, oh, wait, is this even the same time frame? Like,
yeah, dude. And it's just kind of like Blazing Saddles, man. You just go with it. Like you're already in it, man. Let's go with it. Yeah, Josephus, dude, great character.
Sadly, he did pass away in 2003. Gregory Hines at 57. That's kind of man.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was pretty young. And what's crazy is like a lot of Mel Brooks movies, man. Richard Pryor was the main. He was supposed to be playing Josephus. He was also supposed to play Bart in Blazing Saddles. I mean, that was Mel Brooks' first pick for both of those. But I think it was this one where Richard Pryor had, where he had those burns and everything like that.
Yeah, he lit himself on fire.
Yeah, and so that's why he wasn't able to be in this. But it just seemed like every time, man, he was going to be in a Mel Brooks movie, which I feel like those two would have just made it a fantastic movie. But, I mean, you still get a great movie out of – I mean, these are both – Blazing Saddles and this movie, I mean, they are no less because Richard Pryor isn't in them,
I did like how no, you're right. I mean, for those roles for Richard Pryor – think about it this way. When I've heard that in Harlem Nights, they had Richard Pryor was paying to work with, and you realize he has kind of been through a lot of stuff. And I mean, even his story is kind of tragic. So that these characters were made for Richard Pryor, right? But he never got to he never got to do them. So that's even like you find out that Slimer from what do you call it, from Ghostbusters is John Belushi. It's like a and then they tried to make him like it, but they really couldn't. Richard Pryor, he passed away in 2005, so that wasn't 15 years ago. It wasn't relatively too long. But he's an addict, and it's hard. I mean, I know what it talks about. So he was given into all that stuff, but I mean, he was an entertainer at a very young age too. So he probably got exposed to a lot of stuff in the bars, and he's a stand-up comedian. So it's pretty hard for him.
So, Dom DeLuise didn't play Caesar.
Oh, what did he play?
He was Emperor Nero. Let me double check that on IMDb. I thought he was too.
Let's see.
But it's and that's on Wikipedia, so that may be you could do it.
Yeah, anybody can do that. And then this movie, I don't think there's a lot of information on this movie. No, you're right, Emperor Nero.
Yeah.
But I mean, even at that, like having this character, he played like this fat, like because it's true, you'd be out of shape. You're not on the battlefield. You're not working out. And the first in command is always the one that wants to be with like the queen, but he can't. Like it's always like this. It's always like this. I was gonna bring up about Spaceballs real quick, where he goes the Vulcan squeeze and he gets it wrong. Goes, nah, you gotta go a little higher, and he still knocks him out. Like I like those kind of jokes. Yeah. I like those kind of jokes, and those jokes do come out. I mean, even Gregory Hines' character tries to is it Josephus? How do you say it?
Josephus. It's like Bocephus, but with Joe.
Okay. So Josephus. So he what do you call it? He tries to get out of his work by dancing, or go eat by the lions by dancing. Like he's trying to. And then the two Mel Brooks and the other guy are into it because they're into that whole like, oh wow, look at this guy. He's like us, like he's an entertainer. Like, oh, you got me a job. Oh, you lost your money. You got a job. You don't need money. It was like even like that. His unemployment. Like there's unemployment back then. They talk about. They make fun of that. Yeah. That was a big thing.
The 5 and 10 cent store. It's a V and an X.
V, yeah. I like I have it here where it says like one of the jokes. Oh, One of the jokes that really got me laughing was the accent with no language. We have like we don't even speak a language. We
Yes.
just the accent with like that's like a lot of things. I feel like that's more of a thing now, and that makes sense because you only get an accent because of the language. If you don't get the accent because of language, you're faking it, and that's what they're
Mm.
doing. It's in plain sight, and then also the what do you call it? The apple cores for sale. That's what we're talking about. Nothing for sale. What was
Yeah.
I gonna talk about? I have it here where he says nothing. The King's Privilege. That's another one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
game they're playing.
It's good to be the king.
And that comes out a lot. He does that. He doesn't he say that in Men in Tights? Isn't there's one.
I think Patrick Stewart says it
Oh
at
yeah,
the end. He's like, "Oh no, he does. It's him. He's the friar." And
yeah.
Patrick Stewart like kisses the prince. Oh, it's good to be the king.
Yeah. So he says it a lot. Even the his double character says it a lot. Um,
Yeah.
Comicus.
I, yeah. I'm sorry, man. Like I said, I love the Roman part. Whenever they catch Josephus and it was like, "What's the punishment for doing this?" It's like, and everybody said, you there. It's like, oh, this. It's like, no. And it's like, you shove a living snake up their ass. No,
No,
that's a good idea. It's like, you get fed to the lions. Yes, and then it's like, no, but he got it right. Like, it's just,
yeah. That's like everybody raises their head, like we know what to do. We have to do.
yeah.
Even the what do they call those guys? Those they got their castrated. Like they're supposed to be. You're like,
The eunuchs.
the eunuchs. Why is that guy? Why is that guy all skinny? Aren't they supposed to swell up once he gets castrated? And then the feathers just go like that. Like
Yeah.
there's
He's like, oh, he's a eunuch. Oh,
yeah.
he's dead. You know. Like,
So
oh, they. What were you gonna say?
you say. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say on Empress Nympho, so Madeline Kahn's character. Um, she even has a bumper sticker, and it says "We break for wild boars." So there has to be a joke there. I'm not too sure what it is, but I just thought it was funny that both these movies had bumper stickers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like there's probably a bumper sticker in Robin Hood Men in Tights too.
Is, yeah.
I just can't remember it.
That Robin Hood Men in Tights has this chemistry, has this ingredients to it. Like this one, Spaceballs and Robin Hood Men in Tights all have the same feel.
Yeah.
They have that, like,
also, the Jews in Space song. Did that sound familiar at all? We're Jews.
We're men
yeah.
in tights.
We're Jews in
tights.
space.
We're Jews. That's like he's really throwing it out there, man. Like I have been invited. I did go to a bat mitzvah. I didn't go to a bar mitzvah. I went to a bat mitzvah, which is the female version.
Female, yeah.
Female, and man, I'll tell you, I don't want to talk too bad about this family or whatever. But we went to a synagogue, and like it was pretty holy, but like the environment was pretty slapstick. So like,
really?
Man, I don't even want to talk bad about this religion thing, but because I don't know anything about Judaism or anything to do with Jews, I just kind of whatever the movies tell me on TV and then whatever I've seen in life, the minimum that I've seen in life. And April's one of her friends is a Jew, so I get a lot of Jew stereotypes from her. She'll tell me stuff. You know, when Maxwell's first word were goy goy, that's a word for Jews, for non-Jew. So a Jew calls it goy goy. So so Maxwell will go goy goy, and she'd be like, well, he's right, he's a goy goy. So he's not wrong. But like the word the synagogue and this man, like pieces of like just art were falling, and like just randomly the old guys with the military suit, the old veteran guys were walking, like bumping into each other, like slapstick. One guy fell asleep, and his I guess his flagpole that he had hit the other dude in the helmet. And that guy, while the rabbi's talking and everything, they're like the Three Stooges with Shemp in there, you know, Curly, Larry Moe, Curly, and Shemp, like all four of them. And then they had to get them to sit down. And finally, when they sat down, like one of the guys just went, like they had to wake him up. And then
so they weren't trying to act this way. It just kind of happened.
Just everything. I was just laughing. I was like, dude, I don't mean to laugh. And April's looking at me. She's just like laughing. I'm laughing. And we're like, you know, we both have the same humor. So I'm just like, this is so funny. Like, what is going on here? And the cream of the creme was this. There was this lady there, and she was like the rabbi's like assistant or something. And to my belief, she had to be at least 60 years old, 60, 65. But she was in good shape. Like she looked like she was fit and like she did all this stuff. So I was like, she looks like one of those go-getters. She looks like she does CrossFit. She looks buff. Well, there's these two scrolls. It's big. They're big, dude. They're huge, like 4 feet scrolls. But I don't think they're really heavy, but they're oddly to carry two of them. Well, the scrolls come out and she tries to bend down and pick them up. And when she gets them, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's doing it. But she does a good lift. Like she gets under all legs, no back. She secures it up and she does it. I'm like, oh my gosh, she did it. Those things look like made out of metal or something or copper. They look. So she's going, and then the rabbi is like, you may go. And when he does the arm thing, he hits one of the scrolls with his hand without looking, and she loses her. And it's not funny. I'm laughing, but you're just looking like, oh my god, can this? Because in my head at this point, there's like 8 things already went down. At this point, I'm like, this can't go any worse. And sure enough, that happens. And he does, and you hear the clink. He hits it with his hand. He goes, ooh, and she's like, oh. And sure enough, these holy scrolls just fall down. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like a slapstick, like Mel Brooks movie. Like I felt like I was living like a little slip.
This is what. This must be like what he grew up with for him to have that kind of humor
dude,
too.
If I could rewrite that scene, it'd be like, did Mel Brooks write this? Because it's just so like a lot of the stuff it was random, but like seeing that and then being there and seeing that kind of like he really like he makes fun of his religion. And you're I forget, you're not religious, but you're raised religious or nah, never.
No, not. I mean, I grew up like Baptist. But even then, like once, like we went to a non-denominational church. It was more along the lines of like, yeah, you believe in God, you believe in Jesus, and that was really the anybody was welcome kind of thing. But as far as that goes, I'm more of like the universe kind of pushes you in a direction. More like that.
I was just talking about when you were younger. I was just
yeah. I mean, initially Episcopalian, so
you do eat fish then.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hey, good.
So yeah, we did like communion and stuff like that, and then I remember there's like they have friars, I believe, yeah, in Episcopalian, and so I would call his name was Friar Tuck, but I always called him Fire Truck.
Fire Truck.
Yeah, and that was kind of like a little joke in our family. But yeah, no, the Episcopalian to start off with, then Baptist, and then non-denominational.
Yeah, so with me, I was raised I don't know. I was raised Baptist. I guess I was gonna go like this, like Baptist, but
put it down.
I don't. But which I found out that like my brother and I fall under like 5% of Latinos that were raised Baptist to Catholic. So especially back then.
That's what I would have initially thought was like Catholic, because I don't have the Catholic. Usually dark Latinos are usually all tatted up and Catholic out the ass, but you don't have a rosary or anything.
Nah, not the tattoo. No, I just the tres puntos. No, I think with me being like that, because I don't have a Catholic background. I kind of know a little bit about stuff, but Catholics are very judgmental and they're very rude to me, and I'm kind of a talkative person. So I remember they wouldn't let me in the church sometimes. I go with friends. I'm like, oh no, this guy's not allowed. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not missing out. Like I don't care. I don't really have a love hate thing with religion. I understand some of the stories. My grandmother is very religious, and my family, they say they're religious, but I'm not. To me, and I don't even claim anything at this point. It's just like I don't even play that game. Like I choose not to play any of that game. Like, because if you say something like, I'm like, well, I believe in the universe, they're gonna say, oh, so you're agnostic. I'm like, well, no, I mean, I don't need a label for any of it. I just like politics. I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing this game. I don't care about it's not a topic of discussion for me. And being raised like that, and then seeing this movie, watching this Year One, and seeing like you can find a lot of inspiration just from a lot of your environment, being around that kind of stuff. And I feel like even like Wes Craven, when he has a Catholic background, his parents were like trying to put that on him, and he was like, nah, I'm gonna go the opposite way. I always feel like to some extent that's a good thing, like the diamond, the pressure, and but I feel like the way Mel Brooks comes off about talking about his religion, he talks it also like in a business where like he's like, I don't know, the concept is that Jewish people own the like Hollywood, and they make all the executive decisions and whatnot. I feel like he's kind of saying that in these movies. Like I feel like he's kind of like, hey, look, you kind of have to play the game, I guess, or like he's really making fun of, like he goes where some people would really get offended, To
Yeah.
me, where he's like trying to offend where Matt and Trey, they say they don't do that, but this guy, I think, and it's funny how he's doing it, and it comes off kind of like not tasteless, like it's funny, like
Yeah.
I don't think, like, I think the jokes he does, they're there, but they're very light-hearted, so you don't really get stuck, and he doesn't repeat the ugly ones, he just kind of shows you and moves on. I think a lot of that is what Mel Brooks does. I actually want to know, how old was he when he did
I
History
had
of the
been in his
World?
50s because he's like 94 now.
Yeah, he's already in his 90s. So yeah, so he's like he was like in his 50s. Yeah, because he was looking a little bit older already in like the 80s and the 90s. So I was like, okay. I don't know. Every scene in this movie is hilarious. I loved it when the parting of the sea, when he was Moses, cracked me up.
Yeah.
Layers and layers and layers and he even has a beautiful shot, because I think the way they shot it is they actually shot it like on a little moat, not a moat, but like a little drawbridge thing that just does it on its own. And I think they
Yeah.
just having to. But the beautiful part is there's that scene where you see the actors behind the wall, like sorry, it'd be like this. They'd be like going back like that, and it's a nice little shot. But then you see Moses parting the sea, but it's because he's getting robbed. like I can't do anything, this old man.
Yeah. And then after they escape, they go to Judea. And yeah, and then like I said, if you've seen Family Guy, and then you've seen the Stewie and Brian episodes on the road to Germany and stuff like this. So that was like I was looking it up one day. I think it was like a Dean Martin, maybe it was like an old kind of Rat Pack thing. Yeah, where they would do like a road to wherever, and so that's why he has this in here, like, we're on the road to Judea. Boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom. But anyway, man, I love that scene where they get hired on at the restaurant, and so then
I'll be the waiter, and I'll be the hostess. I'll be the what do you call it? Not the dishwasher. He goes, I'll be the assistant or something. Like, no, you're the dishwasher.
Yeah,
like,
he's a dishwasher. All right. And he just kind of begrudgingly does it. But the owner of the place, he's Comicus. He does he does that pop with his face. It's like
even the Last Supper interview is funny.
Yes, dude.
Because that's like, come on, somebody give me a drink order. Somebody, Judas.
It's like he said something about the mall. Oh, he's like, Judas. He's, I love that part. And he's like, he tries to talk. He's like, Jesus, yes, what?
Oh, he doesn't know who's line, like a first, another play on that.
Jesus, yes, what? Like, and he just goes back and forth.
I was like, what?
Yeah, but what does the owner say? He's like, the malt wine is going out. Push it. He's like, don't write that down. It's so hard to find good help. Yeah. Dude, that whole scene up until the Spanish Inquisition, which that is just he makes the Spanish Inquisition fun. Like it was fun to watch. You have the tap dancers, you have Bring in the Nuns, and they're just like what is it? Synchronized swimmers.
Yeah.
And dude, what I thought was crazy is, like, whenever he was shooting the synchronized swimmer scene, is like whenever they first dive in, like they have their eyes open and they're smiling. I was like, man, that has to be hard to just be like smiling underwater, to be that conscious, to be smiling all the time. And they come out in the menorah, where it looks like it was a reverse shot. You kind of saw that with the sparklers and everything
smokes,
like that.
The smoke. You see going to the spark, but then they cut it real quick, so you see it for a second. But you're right. There's a little that's hard to make. I'm trying the Michelangelo character when he goes, because everybody's back. He's an actor. I can't remember. I've never seen him. I wrote him down, but I can't remember. I'm looking for him, and I can't see where he's from.
Let's see here. Art Matrano.
Are you on IMDb?
His name. Wikipedia. Let's see here. It's probably Police Academy 2.
Yeah, there we go. That's where he's from. He's the chief. Yeah, he's like I was like, he's from something. I was like, Police Academy.
dude. And then them. Sorry, going back to the Roman
No, dude, you
Empire.
talk about this. You talk about this, man.
Whenever they're getting away from the Romans, they light the Roman red. They get the papyrus and everything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and even whenever they're looking, like the Romans are looking for him, it's like, I'm looking for a pack of Trojans. Damn, just ran out.
Just read
You know,
out.
like it's just goofy shit like that, man. Like
The
I
town
love
chemist,
it.
or is it the farm? That's like called the pharmacist, the town chemist, or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, keep talking. Dude, keep
something
popping
like
them
that.
off, man. All these, I know you know this movie pretty well. I was like, man, I'm gonna remember a lot of this stuff, but I'm gonna forget a lot of it. But
Yeah.
I guess like, so I just watched this movie. I was like, I just want to watch it.
Oh, dude. Um, yeah, I guess the French Revolution. I love that. You have Harvey Korman, who is Count the Money. Count the money. Count the money. It's Monet. You know, like
Even
it's
he says
almost.
it.
Yeah, yeah. He messes up. He's like, count the money. Um, yeah, man. You have was it Mel Brooks playing King Louis? Right? I think that's who he's playing. Yeah, Louis. Um, and then you have what is it? Count de Monet's assistant, Bernays. And I love that part. He's saying something to him. He's like, "Don't get saucy with me, Bernays." And
I wrote that here. This last
uh, yeah. Oh, dude, another one I have written down. Like, so I'm jumping all over the place. For the Roman Empire is whenever that gay guy who's at Nero's palace or at Caesar's palace, who's introducing everybody. He's telling them about the victories and everything like that. He's like, and they fought against the Cretans at Sparta. He's like, oh no, it was the Spartans at Crete. You know, like I love how they interchange that. Like it could go either way. And then you have Dom DeLuise is like, I brought you this golden bathtub. He's like,
Oh,
nice,
nice.
nice, not thrilling, but nice. And he's like, behind curtain number 2,
Yeah.
you have
Oh,
treasure bath, treasure bath. I'm gonna have a treasure bath. Oh, dude! And then he pulls that thing out of his ass. Like, watch this. And then at the end, whenever they're getting away, he has like this goose in his ass or something, and then he pulls out, watch this. Like, it's just,
Dude, I like the
the
pee boy, the pee bucket. Like he's been there for a
yes,
long time. Just
this
sitting
boy
there.
gotta wait for the shake.
The Count Monet's assistant, that dude was kind of funny too.
Oh, dude, he really was. Um, like I said, I'm going back. He's like with Madeline Kahn. She was like, the servant waits while the master baits. And she just kind of looks up like she said something just so fucking profound. I love
It
it.
doesn't even make sense, but it goes well in the conversation. I mean, the
It
words, it
does.
doesn't make any sense.
No, everybody's jumping on the queen in the.
Dude, they've
Get your
been
little
good.
peckers, get your little peckers out.
Oh, the ass! It
Oh
shows
yeah.
all those guys' asses, man. I
Yes.
was like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Oh, and then you see the Senate too. It's like we could do something for the rich, da 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 da, da, or we could build housing for the poor. And they're just like, fuck the
Fuck the
poor.
poor.
It's like that's what I was thinking too. And then whenever they're trying to act like senators, like bullshit, 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 bullshit.
The
Um,
bullshit artist is such a good line too.
oh, dude, that was great. No, yeah, like I said, I'm just going to move on to the French Revolution because I can go on with the Roman Empire all day. No language, just a stupid accent, like you said. Um, we're going to end this meeting on a high note, and they're just like, ah.
Oh yeah, yeah. They take everything so literal. I love it.
Yeah. Then you have count the money. I'm just going to say count the money because I
Count
love
the
that. Whenever they have like the red carpet out for him, he's just like walking over the poor. Dude, like
They don't even move.
the
They just
symbolism. Yeah, they just get like the symbolism. Like that's literally what they were doing. They're just walking all over him. You know?
It really gets me to understand, like, dude, this shit happened, back then. This is
Yeah.
how they kind of did something. I mean, imagine that like, we live in this time right now where it's beautiful. That if somebody were to like come up to me and threaten me in any way, like there might be some retaliation. Like, is there some kind of back? dude, imagine like Wild West or even like that time, the Dark Ages were really hard, the Renaissance ages, because, dude, someone could just be like, hey, I like what you got. I'm gonna kill you for it, and
Yep.
then they take your identity. That's it. Yeah, it tripped me out when I guess they made the switch from the King Louis to the P boy, and or was it Comicus, and they or was it
Jacques.
Jacques
Jacques is
at
his
that
name.
point? Yeah, so he makes the switch, and then like he gives that paper signed for that girl's dad, and that right there was like what do you call it? Like that part right there was just like
Like
showed me like
hump or die, hump or die,
yeah, yeah.
hump or die.
It's crazy.
Humperdinck.
Even like that, like I feel like that's Harvey Weinstein too, like that kind
Yeah.
of shit's there. Even like but even like I meant to go there, but I was also saying like the paperwork that he does is so simple. Like here, just it's like release your dad. He's also
Well, there's a
very
lot of
like
executions. Like,
yeah.
oh, tough guy.
That got me
Last
where
part.
like Family Guy where he goes, time to die. And he goes, I've been stabbing people. He stabs himself. Oh my God, I've been doing that to people. Oh, that hurts. I better stop doing that. Like he finally feels what he feels like.
So at work, man, I keep on passing like this Pepper's Farm box, and so
Pepper
it reminds me
Farm,
of
those.
family. Pepper Farm, remember? Like every time I see it, I just say. Sometimes I say it out loud. Um, oh, dude, and whenever Count the Money is like the people are revolting, and then King Louis like, yeah, they stink on ice. Like he's
Or Hitler
totally
on ice. He was in part 2. Hitler
at
on
the end,
ice.
yeah. Like, of course they're revolting. They stink on ice. Oh, and then King Louis asks him something. He says something. He says something with like a French accent or something. He's like, is that French? Like he's a French, monarch. He's like, is that French? Oh man, what is this? Like I said,
This movie just makes me really like. I'm more intrigued by it because I feel like this one kind of slipped through the cracks maybe, and a lot of
yeah.
people didn't get PC till later. It got PC. I feel like that's what happened. Mel Brooks brings his one of a kind comic touch to the history of mankind, covering events from the Old Testament to the French Revolution in a series of episodic comedy vignettes. This is like,
Yeah. Oh, and that girl's dad got put in prison because he said the poor ain't so bad. Like,
I mean, for real, that's what we're going back to the times. Kind of like they want to do that. It's weird. Like yeah, they this movie, it needs to be a little bit more. I don't know, maybe more available or something. Like
yeah.
one fit, you can only buy it. I couldn't rent it. Like what's up with that? Why are they trying to because movies it's making fun of all that culture stuff. It's making fun of it right in your face. It's laughing
Yep.
at you, and I don't think a lot of people. So
Oh no, then I was thinking like I had this written in my notes, but I couldn't remember.
squeeze them all
what I
out,
wrote.
man. Get all the nuts out. You got time.
He said whenever she goes and rescues her dad, and he's in prison and everything, he has all those dead birds like fly, my pretties, fly.
Did you
They're
throw
all
them
just falling down.
I didn't get what he was doing. I thought he was trying to like save contraband. But I looked, I was like, "Here's a damn bird."
Yeah. Oh, what's cat got your tongue? Oh no, there's a pussy in here.
What do you say? Also, what else is there? But keep going. I know you know a lot of this movie's funny. I just can't remember a whole
Oh,
lot of
dude.
it.
Yeah, man. Like it's like you said, it's just layers and layers of
It's
like
so
you
many layers.
blink and you miss some jokes. It really is. And I honestly thought for a minute that was Gene Wilder was
Yes,
her
it does.
dad.
It does look like her dad.
It looks
I thought it was her
so
dad.
like
I was like, when does it? I go because Young Frankenstein was like in '78 or something. So
yeah.
it seems like they already work together. So and they do. What do you call it? I wrote a movie I forget about like Wild and Out, something like that. No, that's Richard Pryor and Jay Wilder. Sorry, that's not Mel Brooks' name. Sorry. That's why it doesn't stick in my head like that. Um, this movie, I'm very surprised that it's hard to find. I'm happy that I got it for $10. I'm happy that I got the DVD now. I own it. I will probably watch this down the line when I need to. Maybe you remind me or something, or maybe I just want to get a laugh. This what I love. This is a history book. This is a comedy history book. That's basically what it is.
Yep.
I thought they were gonna go into a little bit more modern time, but they don't. I thought maybe this part 2 would have done that, but they never. Why didn't they do a part 2?
So
The
let's
Stone
see
Age,
here.
the Stone Age when he lights he gets the guy shows up with the fire and he's like trying to light the thing. He's like,
He
oh, like wait a
lights
minute,
the stone on fire.
like his brain connects like that's fire. Let me use it instead of like doing the twigs. He just puts the fire in and throws it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Despite the preview, no sequel has been released or was ever planned, and the part one of the film's title is merely a historical joke. The History of the World, Volume 1, was written by Sir Walter Raleigh. While prisoner in the Tower of London, he only managed to complete the first volume before being
That's
beheaded.
so goddamn.
So,
So
and
even the,
that's from Wikipedia, so take that with a grain of salt. Um, I like the Viking funeral as well, where they take off their hats and they still have the horns.
oh, that got me.
Yeah, and then you
Also,
had
they're just burning they're just burn them out there. Yeah, you're right. That was
yeah
the funny part.
Hitler on Ice, like you said. Jews in space. We're
Jews in
Jews.
space.
We're Jews in space.
He really went out there with that.
We're something protecting the Hebrew race. Like it's great. Like that's another good thing, man. Like you couldn't have a part two. You know, it's almost uh, not even just that historical joke. I mean, 1981. Let's see here. You would have.
God, dude. Even talk. Look, check out this critic on and wrote this in 1999. Mel Brooks' best film yet. This is on IMDb. Classical comedy. Sorry, classical comedy satire. Mel Brooks' best film. Once you've seen this film, you will not forget it. The punchlines keep rolling from the beginning of the film to even the big ending. That was funny. He kisses him at the end. Like they already said the
Yeah.
movie's gonna end. There's
We're
not
coming up
much
on
of
the
a
big end.
plot, but that is to be expected in a movie that contains a bunch of skits. If you like Monty Python, see, if you I got confused with Monty Python, then you should love this movie. This movie is not for everyone, especially if you're easily offended. However, the opening scene should tell you if you would have a problem with watching the rest of the movie. The movie does currently rank on my top 10 comedies of all time. I like that. That was a nice little
Yeah.
pretty good. It's true. If you're easily, I mean, but this is if you get offended by a movie like this, this is way out of there. I mean, IMDb gives
Yeah.
us a 6.9, which I have found out that IMDb critics are getting a little bit. Their scores are going a little bit higher.
Yeah. And so another thing with this part one, man, like, so you had a lot of movies. Well, not a lot of movies. There's just two movies that came out in 1977 that were just probably gangbusters. Smokey and the Bandit, and then you had Star Wars, right? And then 1980, you have part two of both those movies come out. So you could almost see where he's probably like, oh man, everybody's just trying to capitalize on this one thing. So if you have part one and you don't have a sequel, man, you're kind of man,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're promising something that's never going to happen. And I think that's another kind of jab at it too. I'm sure it's the historical joke as well, but you have a lot of sequels coming out. I mean, the 80s, a lot of slasher movies and stuff like that. I doubt they were picking up in 81 as hard. And they probably got a little bit further down the line throughout the 80s, but still, I mean, I think that's kind of where some of this comes in.
Yeah, dude. This movie is just like for people getting offended at anything. I mean, I think it just shows us that people have been getting offended for years.
Oh, yeah.
Years. I was born in 84. This movie's 81 and it's doing that. Like, that's all my life.
Oh no, I was going to say, man, Porky's was on the other day. It was on Prime, and they had that on the background, and that was talking about the 50s and the 80s.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because like a lot of people idealize the 50s as like, oh, that golden era, like everybody was so pure, and then you have Porky's where it's like, this is how kids really were. I mean, that's how kids always have been, and they're not going to change. I mean, you weren't just. It's kind of like in Back to the Future, whenever Marty's mom's talking like, "Oh, I never did this," I never did that.
But she was all the promiscuous one, and it's crazy.
Exactly.
Like that movie has a lot of layers to that. It's really deep. I never picked up to that. So this, what did I say? I probably saw it like 2 or 3 years ago. Where I think it wasn't when I binged it with my little brother. It was I think I was watching on my own. I was like, wait, the mom's an alcoholic because she was a little hoe when she was younger, and she can't be a hoe when she's older. So now she's suppressing her. I was like, wow, I didn't notice this about this movie. I've lived all this life, and I've kind of stumbled into this kind of stuff, but it's been in front of my face the whole time, which is you don't pay attention. What was I gonna say about this? One more thing about this movie. I don't know. I just can't remember. But the box office it made It was what it $10 million budget. It was 31.7 million box office. That's a good hit, especially back then. Especially in '81, that had to be a good one. 21
Oh,
million over
dude,
here.
and it was the fourth week after Raiders of the Lost Ark and Clash of the Titans came out. So
Clash of the Titans. Oh, yeah.
and you also had Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams. So, um, you know, we were yeah, that was 81. So per screen average of 10,000, 4.8 million. Yeah, still that's not terrible. It was considered a commercial disappointment because the film had been tracking well, and Brooks' previous films had been so successful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the MPAA rated it R, of course. Yeah,
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
And Spaceballs, let's see, and that I feel like was a commercial success.
Yeah, I didn't
I don't
realize
know.
that this was History of the World Part 1. 1981 is a rated R movie, hour and 32 minutes,
Mhm.
comedy, history, musical. Take that in for a minute. Comedy, history, musical. That kind of seems like a good. If you can pull that off, that could be either super horrible, terrible idea, or a really great one. And I think they pulled it off in this one. Take a little bit of history, find the darkest parts, laugh at it, and dance at it, and you can.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of
Well,
interesting.
well,
Let's
be.
see. Let's see here. With Spaceballs, man, it had quite a budget on there, $22.7 million budget. So you're right. I mean, they weren't kind of sparing any expense on that one comparatively to
Yeah,
6 years before.
true.
Um,
Maybe there's
and then
more moviegoers too, and more movies to go to by then.
let's see, it only grossed 38 million during its run in the U.S. So I mean, it was considered not that would not be a commercial success at all.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
actually, I think if it's double, I feel like double is okay, but you know. But let's go to the ratings. Let's get this Rotten Tomato scores out the way, and you go to Spaceballs first.
yes. Oh no. Yes. Okay. Great. All right. So Spaceballs is going to be, yeah, critics gave it a 56% and audience gave it an 83. So audience is really going to be kind of leading how I feel like everybody feels about this. And I feel like that's going to go along with a lot of Mel Brooks movies. The critics aren't going to be just giving it a great score because, sometimes they can they're like, oh,
Well,
it doesn't have a cohesive plot. It doesn't have, believability, stuff like that. They're kind of looking too much into it sometimes.
I also think just the critics are the ones that get offended, and they do that on
Yeah.
purpose. And like, oh, you're gonna make fun of me, or you're gonna I'm offended, and I'm taking you down, marks. That's my big concern with critics. Like, I don't need them to tell me what I need to watch. If it's something, I don't know. It's up to me to decide what I want to watch. But I just don't like. I feel like a critic's opinion to me. Like I always say that it doesn't matter. I want to know because I want to know how close we are. Because even I forgot what movie we did where I was like with the critics, but like even like this, 83 for audience score, so that's like a B. It's a B, solid B. I'm Spaceballs to me is a solid B.
Yeah.
Maybe B plus, but it's a B for sure.
And then History of the World Part 1, we have a 58% on critics and 81% on audience scores. So pretty similar,
I mean, 58, I feel is a little bit, oh yeah, 56, 58 is a little bit more, but no, it should be, wow. That's actually, I think that's pretty high for History of the World Part 1 for critics.
Yeah.
It may not have enough comedic inspiration to merit a Part 2. See, why would even, like, you just get personal with it as a critic.
Well, dude, and they probably weren't getting that it was like a spoof,
Yeah.
And that's Mel Brooks, man. He's making fun of everything.
Yeah, he is. He's not leaving. There's not only is it a joke that you're about to get hit with, you're going to get hit with a joke of a joke of a joke with layers of jokes. So for my score, the 1 through 13, the patented 1 through 13, I gave Spaceballs, and I can't stress this enough, a hard 10. Like,
Yeah.
It's a hard 10 for me. It won't go anymore. It won't go any less. It has nostalgia with me, but not enough for me to be like, oh, I love this movie. But I gotta say, when it's on, I watch it. So,
Yeah. So going on to my score,
What you get? What you
same.
get?
I have a
10?
10. I have a hard 10. Like I said, I would definitely recommend. I would almost want to show this to people before I showed them Star Wars, just to kind of give them that little comedic,
Rundown.
like, oh, this is a little spoof. I feel like you get the jokes a little bit more, but you can watch this, enjoy it as a comedy, watch Star Wars, and then come back and watch this and enjoy all the little jokes afterwards. You know?
I would tell somebody like watch all 3 Star Wars movies and then wait a little bit and then watch this one as the 4th one, like I did.
Don't wait as long as I did.
Don't wait too long.
Because like I said, I feel like I kind of cheated myself a little bit there,
I
or
think
don't have people build it up as much. You
yes,
know,
that too. Yeah,
like this is a good movie. That's why I say you give it a 10.
yeah. No, no.
Just
Yeah. I think for all purposes, this is a 10. This isn't one of my 11 or 12, 13s, but I think I'm not gonna give it less than a 9. But it's a 10. It's a solid 10 with the humors, with the jokes, with everything. I mean, it's a close 11. Now, what is an 11? I gave a History of the World Part 1 11. I gave it
yeah,
a solid 11, and the reason it's almost a 12, not a 13, almost a 12 because of the riskiness it was and the creativity. And it's a good movie. It's a well, I mean, for what they had, this is in 1981.
yeah.
This is 1981, and when they can pull this off, I'm very impressed. What you get?
I'm giving it a solid 12.
12. Oh man, I was close. I was close. I was
12.
guessing. I was guessing that.
Like I said, this movie too, the Oedipus joke. That's really kind of a. I feel like I say this every time. It's a litmus test for knowing whether or not I can have like an intelligent conversation with people sometimes. You know, like it's like, do you know who Oedipus Rex is? Like, no. All right, cool, man. Like, I could still go on to other movies with you, but this one's just going to go right over your head. You
Yeah.
know, and very rarely am I like, well, you know, I'll explain it to some people like, oh, that sounds familiar. I'll be like, all right, you know, this is a story, and then I'm like, all right, so this is the story of Oedipus Rex. Now listen to this joke I heard in this movie. You know, so that's dude. That, like I said, that is my favorite part of Josie. What's up, motherfucker? Like, oh, it's just like you can't. In my opinion, that is like a perfect joke.
The random dude with the boombox is just jamming out, walking. Like, what is that about? Like, it's just like, what the fuck is that about?
I think Mel Brooks is just preparing us for the fall of the Roman Empire that we're living in right now.
Just go in. Oh God, he really. It feels like that. Like a lot of the lazy,
Yeah.
a lot of lazy, good for nothings are wanting to be in control. But it's like you gotta earn your way. But we'll see. You know, you can't build a house off sticks, off of toothpicks and things that stay. So we'll see.
It's like whenever those Romans are getting high off the Roman red, it's like, are you worried it's gonna fall? I was like, what? The Empire? Fuck it.
Like,
Like,
oh, I'm happy you brought that up. I want to talk about that scene because they were talking like stoners back then. So I feel like why didn't we see more about that? Like, why didn't I hear? I feel like I didn't hear any of that. Like, even that conversation just sounds like something we would say now. It totally sounds like something we would say now. It's for sure sounds like something I would say in high school. Like if it's just like, hey man, if we don't show up to ISS tomorrow, we're not gonna graduate. Yeah, fuck it. You know, like that's so beautiful. But that was funny. He goes, pull over. He rolls that giant joint and he fucking does that. That shit was funny, man.
yeah, dude.
I thought this movie was pretty. I see why. I feel after a few more viewings, this movie for me, after not just owning it, but watching it for the first time and then watching it next time, it's gonna grow again. It's gonna be one of those that's gonna keep growing on me. I'm gonna keep getting everything. It's gonna keep I'm gonna be eventually where you're at with it. I felt like you owned this movie. When we talked about it, I just felt like I was like, why does I feel like he just owns it? And I'm not part of the club, and now I am part of the club. Was the club even like, you know, the cover looks funny as hell.
Yeah, dude. It's great.
I mean, it's a great movie. I love it. A little something to offend everyone. It's even a little something to offend everybody. Look at that. That's awesome. 1981. Man, I'm happy. This is a good one. Thank you for the suggestion, Mr. Vim. Now we must guide our way to something else. Something new. Man. Something when everyone else can see where we're headed. I will say that we do watch these movies, and whether we've seen them or not, or we know we love them, but you know, just talking about them, even if we miss some scenes, like just talking about them is I feel is a way better than just not talking about them and not knowing that this movie is not on any of the streaming services. And why not?
Yeah.
You know, why is it? Is that offensive that you don't want to watch something from 1981 that's the way they talked back then. That's the way they talk now. It's just I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but I'm saying like there's
Yeah.
always this narrative or whatever. There's this voice that there's a certain way, and it's not. It's whatever it is. It's whatever is obvious. Whatever people. I like that Mel Brooks is looking at life and being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna put this in there." And he's older too, man, and he gets it. So, like, I really, what is it? He's at 94. He's still alive. Like, I appreciate it. All this stuff he's done and where he's at. He just went with it and had fun. I do love the live at Caesars when he does I love that stand up performance. It's if you just want to watch somebody do stand up, it's like he's not even trying. Like he's so natural at it.
And they actually, whenever they're like having people go into Caesar's Palace, whenever that shot is, that's actually filmed in Vegas. So they're actually,
awesome.
yeah.
They're actually at Caesars. Cool, man. That's actually, I like knowing that. I like when you give me the good stuff like that. But so we're Thanksgiving's coming up, and we might either. What are you thinking?
There's only one Thanksgiving movie out there, buddy. There's only one that comes to mind. You know what that is?
Which one?
Son-in-Law.
Oh God, yes. I can do this. Son-in-Law. Are we doing 2 Pauly Shores? Are we going there? Are we doing 2 Pauly Shore movies? Are we?
I mean, if we're gonna do Son-in-Law, then I know you're gonna want to do Encino Man.
Okay, we know what I want to do Encino Man, so I'm gonna switch it and we're gonna do Jerry Duty.
Okay. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Because this is going from we know me and Encino Man, Brendan Fraser, Shane Astin, Pauly Shore, my boys. So we don't have to go that route, but we'll go another route. Because I want to say Son-in-Law is I think it might be the first of his little movies that he had, his little deal, where he had Son-in-Law, then he had Biodome, he had In the Army Now, and then I think it was Jury Duty. I think it's Jury Duty. So we can go from the first one. So, man, I really like. Dude, I had a plan to meet Pauly Shore this year. He was going to be in Corpus Christi, and I was going to get – because I got that poster. I want to get all the signatures. Brendan Fraser was kind of hard to get, and I got that one. I think that was going to be the hardest one. And then – because Pauly Shore still does his stand-up, so I feel like I get his. But then Shane Astin, like I got his – he's easy to get a hold of. So I was thinking, like, I can get him, but then, 2020, so we got to figure it out. But Pauly Shore, I got to say, man, he's something different, man. He's special to me. His existence helps me understand my existence, and kind of growing up watching him as a kid and seeing what he's done, and I'm like, man, he's I want to meet him. I want to have a conversation with him. He's someone cool, because I think even when he was on the JRE and he talks about, the Weasel was cool, then it wasn't cool, and I was like, yeah, but when the Weasel was cool, it was fucking cool, man. It was like that was cool shit, dude. He's like he's different, man. He's like that different peacock in the bunch, or like in the group of birds. But yeah, dude, I am totally down for doing Son-in-Law, and unless you think of anything of what he is a goofy movie, but he's a cameo in that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my first run-in with him. Let's do that. Let's do Son-in-Law and Jury Duty. I mean, I don't see any reason we can't do that. That was our natural, organic way of going.
Yeah, we did. We see here on Side by Side. We like to emphasize all organic, all natural. We make it up on the spot. Nothing is pre-made. Nothing's made in a microwave. Nothing is made overnight. Everything is made right here for you. You get it as we speak. I mean, granted, I'm behind a little bit, but we're catching up. And but as you're watching the episode, you're watching. It's
grass fed as well.
It's all
grass finished.
Yes, thank you. I would even say it's free range. I will even and Ben can correct me on all this. As we know, he's part of the show. He is the other half of the show, so everything I say reflects on him. So I would say we are free range. We are very organic. No GMOs whatsoever. We are hormone free.
Hormone free.
Grass fed. We might not be homo free. So just just joking there. Got a brother in the house. That's But I'll say that. This show is for the most part we're just figuring it out, and this is fun. I want to say that you gotta understand it's fun that you can tell another friend of yours that let's watch 2 Pauly Shore movies, and without a hesitation they're like yes, like it means a lot. And I hope when people hear this, they see that they're like, oh, they're just kind of going on this little journey, but we're just driving around. I mean, today's Tuesday, I believe. I lost my days. No, right now it's Wednesday, but it's 12:30. So, but I'll say this, like as it is, like we've consistently kept this chain going weekly. So we're gonna keep it going as long as we can. And I love that's Pauly Shore now. Wow, we're gonna. couple 13s, maybe for CJ.
Well, I know son-in-law is definitely going to be
up there.
It's up there. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess we're gonna mosey on out and get this one over. We usually get out an hour and a half from here, so we have a little bit of we started earlier, so a little bit of downtime after this. But I guess we're running out of time. We're done. So let's walk out of this bad boy.
Hey, have a good night.
So everybody have a good night. So tonight on Side by Side, we did Mel Brooks. We did Spaceballs and the History of the World Part 1. Next week we will be doing, or I guess later this week, we'll be doing Pauly Shore, Son-in-Law and Jury Duty. So come on in and get comfortable.
Cannot wait, man.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, I don't even care if these are available or not. I'm gonna buy them already. Like, I don't care. I'm buying them right now. But all right, well, we'll sign it off. I'm CJ Robles.
And I'm Ben Yuri.
And thank you for listening Side by Side. We will see y'all later.